The Browns in a pivotal November showdown with first place in the AFC North on the line. The Steelers currently leading the division. Welcome, everybody, to Cleveland. Ian Eagle along with Solomon Wilcots. It's an unlikely story, but it's been a huge success. The rebirth of Tommy Maddox as the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. It all started in the first meeting between these two teams.
And ever since this Pittsburgh offense has gone to another level with Tommy Maddox as their starter, they've averaged 30 points a game. His teammates calling Tommy Gun because he has a quick and accurate release. But today, the Cleveland Browns defense, they're going to come after him.
Browns fans have been waiting for this kind of game. They will get it today. We'll have it for you after this message and a word from your local station. It's the NFL on CBS from Cleveland, Ohio. Today, the Browns battle the Steelers. Last week, Tim Couch led the rally as Cleveland knocked off the Jets, and he's helping solidify that reputation as a comeback kid.
Yeah, it's his ability to bring his team back and win football games that has Tim Couch maturing before our very eyes as a franchise quarterback.
For the Pittsburgh Steelers, the bust Jerome Bettis not available because of a knee injury. Amos Zaraway gets the start for the second consecutive week.
Zaraway doesn't have the power of Jerome Bettis, but he'll test the defense with his speed to bounce it outside, and he'll cut it back and run to daylight.
It is the longest rivalry in the AFC. These two teams certainly familiar with one another.
Subway presents Fresh Starts, a salute to this season's surprises. Reeves Falcons won 4 out of their next 5. Pittsburgh's resurgence is due in part to quarterback Tommy Maddox, who completed his first 11 passes last week against the Ravens. The Falcons have been winning with the fleet-footed Michael Vick, the first quarterback in NFL history to rush for 90 yards in consecutive games.
So much history between these two franchises, including October 29th, 1950. Cleveland, a 45-7 rout of Pittsburgh. Marion Motley had a huge day, 177 yards on the ground. He won the regular season rushing title that year, 1950. Weather conditions here in Cleveland, temperature 40 degrees. They were talking about the possibility of snow squalls coming off of Lake Erie. That will not happen today. It's crisp, and it is football weather for an AFC North matchup. Well, a pleasure to have a Hall of Fame nominee joining us today. He had a terrific piece on the NFL Today featuring Tommy Maddox, and a little different angle right now for Marcus Allen. Marcus.
Well, thanks, Ian. Look for special teams to play a major role in today's game, especially the return game. Andre Davis for the Browns is returning kickoff for 6, and Antoine Randall for the Steelers has done the same. In the case of Antoine, look for a punt return. That's one thing he doesn't have on his resume, guys. And whoever wins the battle of special teams most likely will win this game. Back upstairs.
All right, Marcus, very much. We had a chance to sit down with Randall L. Bill Cowher loves him, loves the enthusiasm, and why not?
I love him. I was very much impressed. And he says, you're right, I haven't returned a punt yet. He's looking to do so here today.
Pittsburgh has won the toss. They will receive, and we are underway from Cleveland. Lee Mays is going to get an opportunity from the 5-yard line for the Steelers. Dances his way to the 24 and then spun down on special teams as the Browns had Andre King downfield to make the play. Tommy Maddox, efficient last week, and that is an understatement. He completed his first 11 passes in a 31-18 win over Baltimore. He ended up going 18 of 24, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Tight formation to open up on a 1st and 10 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They won the first matchup between these two teams back in Week 4. A come-from-behind 16-13 win in overtime. Todd Peterson, a 31-yard field goal. They trailed that game 13-6 in the 4th. Maddox on the give. And Zaraway, not much room to work with. Darren Hambrick, first man there. Zaraway picks up 3. Look at the Steelers' offense, and this offensive line has been so strong for Pittsburgh. Chucky Okobe, though, getting his second consecutive start. Jeff Hardings is active but is not starting because of a knee injury. Backs and receivers, we mentioned Zaraway getting the nod. Kreider, a strong blocking fullback. Burris and Ward, tremendous combo. And Bruner, maybe the best blocking tight end in the business.
Yeah, he's just like an offensive tackle, but he can catch the ball as well, but certainly one of the best blocking tight ends around.
Steelers have gotten off to such a strong start in their last 3 games, scoring touchdowns on their first drives of the day. Randall L. is in there as a third receiver. Maddox, tuck and run, and caught at the 30. Kennard Lang bringing him down after a 2-yard scamper for Tommy Maddox. He is no Cordell Stewart coming out of the pocket, but in the pocket, he's done so much damage. Cleveland defense, they are ranked 24th in the NFL. Lang, Warren, Roy, and Brown across that defensive line. Linebackers, emotional day for Earl Holmes. He's the former Steeler, spent 6 years with the club. Secondary, McCutcheon back in the starting lineup, but now they lose Corey Fuller. Anthony Henry steps in. Little and Bush, they are the safeties. A 4-receiver formation. They'll spread it out. On a 3rd and 5, Maddox slings one out and caught at the 35-yard line by Randall L. It's a first down for Pittsburgh. 6-yard reception.
Randall L. is a guy who's looking to have a big day. You know, he played quarterback in college at Indiana, but at the wide receiver position, he says, hey, I'm still learning. He's coming out to learn from all the other receivers on this roster, but at 5'10", 184 pounds, not a big guy, but he's very quick, and that's why you'll see him working out of that slot wide receiver position today.
Solomon, he does not lack confidence. We know that much. we asked him, any question in your mind that you could play NFL wide receiver? He said, no, come on.
There was never any question in his mind.
I'll play anywhere on the field, he basically said. Handoff, Zaraway. Zaraway brought down by Hambrick. Great open field tackle for a loss of 4.
Well, this Cleveland Brown defense, their front 7, they can all fly and run to the football. Number 56 is Hambrick, and he just comes flowing right through the unblocked gap, and he has a bead on Amos Zaraway. It's the speed of that front 7 for the Cleveland Brown that really is going to help them to play good, sound run defense today.
And Hambrick has picked it up in recent weeks. It's a little tough to come in to replace a Pro Bowler, Jameer Miller, out with that right Achilles tendon for the season. Maddox is set up on the outside. Trick play early on, and why not? Hines Ward with the catch. No room there, though, for Ward as Dalen McCutcheon sniffed it out on the perimeter, and it's a gain of only 1. You know the Steelers are capable of throwing you trick plays, and they just showed you one.
The offensive coordinator, Mike Mularkey, he has Randall L. at the quarterback position, the position he played in college. And Hines Ward, he's a former college quarterback at Georgia, so they have a number of players who can throw the football, and so you're liable to get any kind of trick play from this offense today with their coordinator, Mike Mularkey.
Randall L. said, we practiced it, I just had the opportunity yet to get under center. He just got his shot. On a 3rd and 13. Out of the shotgun, flag down. Oh, and Maddox got blistered by Courtney Brown. Veron Haynes, the rookie, was in there in the backfield, and the rush came like an avalanche, but a penalty marker down, a couple of them thrown.
Yeah, a couple of them thrown in the secondary.
Referee today is Mike Carey, and this is going to work against the Cleveland Browns. They got a tremendous rush going on Tommy Maddox.
12 men on the field. On the defense, 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Well, that's major confusion there because it takes away a big play. This crowd's ready to erupt as Courtney Brown had his first sack of the season, but has it taken away because of the penalty.
Penalties have been an issue for this Cleveland team. Butch Davis, 12 men on the field. No wonder they got that kind of rush going on Tommy Maddox.
And Butch Davis trying to get his guys to back up. I think they were on the sideline, but just happened to be standing on the other side, giving them 12 men on the field.
3rd and 8. Play clock was winding down. Out of the gun. Maddox, rush is coming. This time Maddox has some room. A pump fake, and Maddox goes down short of the marker. He needed 8. He came up with 4, and Dwayne Rudd touched him up to make sure Maddox didn't get the first down. Steelers forced a punt.
It all started by Cleveland Brown, their defense ability to take away the running game from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Once you do that, then you can come after Tommy Maddox. And talking to their defensive coordinator, Foge Fazio, he felt like no team has yet to be able to put pressure on Maddox, and that's why he's been so accurate and that's why he's been so successful.
Dennis Northcutt, who did bring a punt back for a touchdown against the Titans, is waiting for the kick from Josh Miller. Miller had one blocked earlier this season. Steelers gave up a touchdown off a punt return to Santana Moss. I should say the Browns did last week. And Northcutt trying to circle. Oh, look at Northcutt. Down the sideline. Dennis Northcutt. He's got room in front of him. And goodbye. Northcutt is gone. Touchdown, Cleveland. 87 yards. And the second time this season.
Oh, Marcus Allen told us off the top, he said, watch out for the special teams. Kick return, Andre Davis a couple of weeks ago, and now Dennis Northcutt on the punt return. He's a guy that can make some big plays for this offense. He's done so all season long, and he's made some big plays in special teams, gets his team off to a good start here today.
And 5 key blocks for Northcutt to help spring him loose. He is just coming of age this season. He told us he had to wait for his turn in high school, wait for his turn in college. He's waited for his turn here in his 3rd season, and he's just given the Browns a 7-0 lead. This Northcutt, the long return to give Cleveland a 7-0 lead, and roles reversed here. It's Cleveland taking the early lead. They've been the team coming from behind in this 2002 season, and the Steelers have been the team in recent weeks taking the early lead and then handling their opponents with ease. Lee Mays from the 3. Mays looks for an opening. Couldn't squeeze through that hole, and he is tackled at the 20 by Brant Boyer.
An 87-yard punt return. He's able to do it because he picks up excellent blocking coming back to his right side of the field. Now watch, there's one block right there. That's a key block. He gets another one here, and he'll work his way up the field. Here's number 3, and there's 4. So it's all about teamwork. And guess what? They're not done yet. They're even going to take care of the kicker. And there he goes untouched. Even picks up a 6th block, even though he didn't need it. But that's just teamwork. Everyone putting in work to make sure Northcutt gets the touchdown.
1st and 10 from the 20. Zaraway cutting to the outside. Look at the burst of speed. Amos Zaraway forced out of bounds as Mark Bruner had a key block on that left side. It's a 14-yard burst.
Now the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to stick to what they do best, and that's running the football behind a very strong, powerful offensive line. And they're pulling number 73, Kendall Simmons, and Zaraway. This is what he can do. He's not a big guy, but he runs very powerful, very strong, low to the ground, 207 pounds, but he really packs it in, that 5'8" frame. It's very strong, but he can bounce it to the outside and turn on the speed.
He models himself after Barry Sanders, he told us, but he could only copy the easier moves. He said he can't do some of the other stuff that Barry did. Trying to find Kreider, it's too low, and Maddox is incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Now the Pittsburgh Steelers, the last 3 ball games, they scored on their first possession of the game for 3 weeks in a row. And even last week, Tommy Maddox completed his first 11 passes of the game against the Ravens. So they're not quite off to that normal fast start that we've been used to seeing with Tommy Maddox as the quarterback.
They had 28 first-half points last week, the most production they've had in a first half since September of '96. And they did that against Baltimore as well. 2nd and 10. Line of scrimmage, 35. Maddox under a rush, loses the football, able to cover it up as Courtney Brown was curling in the pocket. And he put Maddox under some heat.
Everyone here in Cleveland has begun to question the 2 first-round picks on this line, Gerard Warren and Courtney Brown. He's working against number 72, Wayne Gandy, comes in from the backside. Not only does he look to get the sack on Tommy Maddox, but strips the ball. This is a guy who's been hurt. He's missed a number of games, but when he has played, Courtney Brown has made big plays for this defense.
He is nicknamed the Quiet Storm, but his stats have been quiet this season. Now in his 3rd year out of Penn State, the number 1 pick in the 2000 draft. Maddox on 3rd down, puts it in the air and complete to Hines Ward. That'll quiet the crowd as Ward slides at midfield for a 21-yard pass and catch.
And that was an excellent throw by Tommy Maddox. Some of the players, they said he's very accurate. Look at the timing and the accuracy of this throw coming underneath the cornerback, number 21, Lewis Sanders. It's just an excellent throw to Hines Ward, hit him in stride. Hines Ward is a guy that will make a number of big plays, not only in the passing game, but he can block in the running game to spring the long runs.
Big crowd on hand here in Cleveland for the Browns and the Steelers. First quarter action, we come up on 7:40 remaining. Steelers driving a 1st and 10. Anson razzle-dazzle all the way back. Maddox got it on a throw. He is open. It's Zaraway down at the 30-yard line. They did a lot to get to that point, and it paid off. 19 yards as Zaraway handed it off, and Maddox eventually got it back for the throw.
Mike Mularkey is one of the most underrated offensive coordinators in the National Football League. This is just a flea flicker where they get the defense off balance, and they're able to bring the running back, Amos Zaraway, in the flat. Could have led him a little bit more, and he would still be running after making the catch. It goes from Hines Ward back to Tommy Maddox, and they're able to protect Maddox as well. And he throws the ball, gets it out in front. Now the Pittsburgh offense is on the move.
And the misdirection clearly fooled the Browns defense. Zaraway gets a touch and wrapped up quickly. Combination, Hambrick and Tyrone Rogers. They limit Zaraway to a gain of 1.
And more on Pittsburgh offensive coordinator Mike Mularkey. He's in his 2nd year as the offensive coordinator, but last year this offense finished 3rd in his first year calling plays and 1st in the running game. And so far this year, they're really off to a good start. Made the move to Tommy Maddox, but he uses different personnel groupings, and you know what? He knows how to keep the defense off balance to create big play opportunities.
On a 2nd and 9, line of scrimmage is the 29. Kreider and Haynes in the backfield. This will be Haynes, the rookie, getting the call. And Haynes coming near side from behind Orpheus Roy. It's a gain of 3. Solomon, it begs the question, though. Instead of Cordell Stewart, it's Tommy Maddox. Coaching staff has come out and said, no, we haven't changed much. What have you seen on film?
Well, I think they have changed. They're able to run, I think, more routes. And, of course, they have the play-action pass. He's really good at faking the play-action pass and going up top, but he sees things so much quicker and able to get rid of the ball quicker that I think it gives the coaches confidence to try to do more in the passing game than what they would normally do with Cordell Stewart.
Now a 3rd and 6. Cordell now the backup to Tommy Maddox. He dropped the football. Rush is coming. Slings it out. And out of bounds, incomplete. Mathis in a matchup with Sanders, the veteran against the young corner.
Kobe, he's filling in for the starter, Jeff Hardings, and that's why he's not. Maddox wasn't ready. I doubt if he even called for Kobe to snap the ball, but Maddox keeps his poise. He's able to pick the ball up, get rid of it. They don't lose yards, but they lose an opportunity to score a touchdown.
Todd Peterson, who's been consistent in his career, but some question marks from beyond 40 yards away. This is a 43-yard attempt. Maddox will hold it. Schneck will snap it. 43 yards away, and Peterson drills it. Steelers get 3 back after Cleveland got the long punt return for a touchdown. And it's 7-3, Browns in front. Pittsburgh will kick it off when we come back.
CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37. Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. And by Center, makers of the View, redesigned L-Series and the all-new Ion.
Browns fans have been hoping to see meaningful football games in the month of November and December. Last year, they were teased. They thought maybe December was going to be one of those months. Didn't turn out that way as the Browns limped to the finish line, to say the least. They were 6-4 and then finished off with only 1 win the rest of the way. Peterson on the kickoff. The dangerous Andre Davis from the 11. Here's the rookie.
There you go.
Runs into a tackler at the 25 and then was able to pick up a couple extra yards. Clark Hagens makes the stop. We're going to welcome the Cleveland Browns offense to the party. We'll take a look at them in a moment. 5:26 mark of the first quarter, and Tim Couch finally gets a chance to touch the football. Solomon, he said, no bones about it. This is the biggest game he's played in during his NFL career. And a 1st and 10 at the 29-yard line. On a pitch, it's Jamel White. Through a hole, White able to dance his way out of bounds at the 35. And a solid gainer on 1st down. Well, for Tim Couch, 89 straight passes without an interception. Elbow injury, finally not the focus anymore. He feels like he's much closer to 100%.
And he's never used it as an excuse, although it did bother him. He was only about 80 to 85% when he first came back, and he said last week was the first time that he felt strong in terms of the way that he felt in the preseason when he played so well.
He did struggle in that first meeting against Pittsburgh when he was coming back from the injury at Heinz Field. Quick slant, catch made by Kevin Johnson, and able to turn it upfield for a first down at the 40-yard line. Jason Gildon makes the stop for Pittsburgh. The Cleveland offense, Verba, Stokes, Wolaba, O'Hara is in the starting lineup after getting replaced last week by Paul Zukowskis, and Ryan Tucker, the right tackle. Green, Morgan, Johnson, Campbell, and Aaron Shea. It was Jamel White that was in there on first down. Butch Davis told us he'd like to go about 50-50. Bruce Arians calling the plays with Green and White in the backfield. Handoff. White waiting for a blocker. It's not there. He tries to do it himself and cannot. He is stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Lee Flowers, the strong safety, able to smell out that play. No gain. Pittsburgh defense, Smith, Hampton, and Von Oelhoffen in that 3-4 set. Now this is Defenseville, PA, as Joey Porter likes to call it. The linebackers, the bread and butter. Gildon, Farrier, Bell, and of course Porter in that secondary. Scott and Washington are the corners. Alexander, Flowers, the safeties. This defense, while the ranking isn't that good, they've done the job this season. On a quick throw, incomplete, not at the spot for Mark Campbell. And James Farrier there defensively. A little whooping going on between those two. Time for an NFL Today update. We go to New York and Jim Nance.
All right, Ian, you know one of the big stories today is Brady and Bledsoe tangling up in Buffalo. The first to strike, it's New England. Brady to Christian Fourier, 7-0 Patriots. 5 minutes to play first quarter. Let's go back to Ian and Solomon.
All right, Jim, thanks very much. So many great storylines around the NFL Week 9, and that's got to be one of the biggest.
No one knows how to defend Drew Bledsoe like Bill Belichick.
Yep.
Believe me, they'll do a good job.
Out of the shotgun on a 3rd and 10. Here's Couch. Pocket collapsing. Couch on time for Andre Davis. And he's going to come up just short of the first down. At midfield, Deshae Townsend brought him down before he got to the marker.
It was a good tackle by Deshae Townsend. Also, he had good coverage. Of course, he wasn't able to break up the pass, but for you young defensive backs, that's the thing. Know where the first down marker is. He makes the catch, but look, he makes the tackle. No yards after the catch. You get off the field on 4th down.
And just about a yard shy of that first down, Chris Gardocki. 868 consecutive punts without a block. That's an NFL record, and he extends it. Antoine Randall, fair catch at the 11-yard line. So Randall does not get the opportunity. Good punt by Gardocki. Steelers back on offense.
Is sponsored by T-Mobile. Get more minutes, more features, more service. And by GM Goodwrench Service Plus, your automotive service expert.
(7-3) Cleveland leading it. Bernie Kosar actually in attendance here today, along with Franco Harris, the Hall of Fame running back from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Seen a number of familiar faces here. It's a big game.
Well, Bernie Kosar was one of the best to ever put on a Cleveland Brown uniform, and he could make plays. Didn't have the strongest arm, but he was a bright quarterback, and he could pick you apart.
Steelers, 12 drives starting inside their own 20 and not very successful. This one starting just shy of the 12. Maddox on an out route makes the connection to Plexico Burris. And Burris ducks out of bounds. About 9.5 yards. Let's see where they spot the football. Looks to be just a little bit short of the first down. Well, Burris, they're talking about maturity. They're talking about a greater understanding of what it is to be a team player, an all-around wide receiver.
Yeah, his head coach, Bill Cowher, said that he's a guy that he'll do the extra. He's learned a lot from Hines Ward in terms of not being selfish. He'll come out, he'll block on running plays. He does the little things that it takes to help this football team.
2nd and 1. Zeraway. Pretty move inside to pick up the first down. Little stutter step for a 3-yard gain up the middle for Amos Zeraway. We talked to Zeraway, and, you know, you ask a question like this, you're not sure what the reaction's going to be. We asked him, hey, have you ever allowed yourself to think what would it have been like if you were drafted by another team and became a starter? He said, yeah, I can't lie, I've thought about it, but this has been a good situation for him.
He almost prefers to play with a guy like Jerome Bettis. Jerome is such a good guy, and I think set such a good example for the other backs. He says, hey, we're very close as a running back group. He knows his role on this football team.
On first down, Maddox fakes the pitch. Knocked around and almost intercepted by Hambrick. On the bootleg by Maddox. And he couldn't get it over the outstretched arm of the linebacker Hambrick.
And this is something you don't normally see from Tommy Maddox. He's more of a pocket passer, but they're going to roll him out on this play, and he's trying to go to Hines Ward, but Hambrick gets into the throwing lane, gets a hand up, and is able to knock down that football. And as you said, almost came away with the interception, but surprising to see Tommy Maddox throwing the ball outside of the pocket where he has to use his leg. I think he's better throwing inside the pocket, getting rid of the ball quickly.
Hambrick's been active early on. Antoine Randall now on the field. Maddox on the handoff, Zaraway trying to create extra yardage and got a couple. Anthony Henry and Kevin Bentley involved in that stop. Zaraway did a lot of running for just a 3-yard gain.
In the Cleveland Browns scouting report on third down and second and third down, you have to beware of draws and screen from this Pittsburgh Steelers offense. And that time the defense was very well aware. Anthony Henry, fine tackling cornerback. Everyone is playing zone defense, so they're able to see the ball when it's run, and everyone just rallies and comes to make the tackle.
A full receiver look for the Steelers. Maddox will work out of the shotgun. Ward, the motion man. Here's Maddox on a 3rd and 7. Rush coming. Maddox throws it. Sideline toss, and it's caught by Mathis. Oh, the crafty veteran. You never use the term crafty when you talk about a rookie. It just usually goes hand in hand with veteran.
Antoine Randall said that he learned a lot from Terrence Mathis. Look, little push off there, little hands on Lewis Sanders, who slips and falls down, and Terrence Mathis takes advantage of it. But he's well aware of going past the first down marker, comes back to the football. But the timing of the pass route by Tommy Maddox was just excellent, working with Mathis.
And a first down for Pittsburgh, just short of the 40-yard line. That was good for 13 yards. Maddox on the pitch. Zaraway spun down behind the line of scrimmage by Dwayne Rudd. And a loss of 3 as Zaraway could not shed the tackler. Well, one of America's most enduring images, the Goodyear blimp floating overhead today, providing the aerial views of this matchup. The Ohio-based Spirit of Goodyear, one of 3 airships in the Goodyear blimp fleet. And it's nice to have those guys with us here today in Cleveland. That'll be the final play of the first quarter. Browns leading the Steelers 7-3. We'll come back with second quarter action right after this message. (7-3) Cleveland leading Pittsburgh. We welcome you back to Cleveland Browns Stadium. Ian Eagle, Solomon Wilcox, along with Hall of Fame nominee Marcus Allen joining us here today. The rest of our CBS crew. First place in the AFC North. That's what's at stake here. It's up for grabs. Keep in mind, Steelers would have been 0-3 if they didn't beat Cleveland and come from behind fashion. So it's a reminder just how quickly things can change in this league.
Well, when you talk to the coaches, they say that Tommy Maddox has really given this team a spark on offense. He said that they were very lethargic in practice and in games, but his energy and his quick pace has really helped this team to improve.
Maddox driving the Steeler team right now. He zings one. Incomplete. Or is it Hines Ward? It is incomplete. Earl Holmes with a smack. The former Pittsburgh Steeler getting a shot on his former teammate. Well, here's the about face with Cordell Stewart, 1-2 record. You see the offensive numbers, complete turnaround under Maddox.
Yeah, they had 12 turnovers with Cordell Stewart as the quarterback, only 6 with Maddox, but the points per game, look at that, 30 points per game. So this offense has really done an about face, and we're really seeing a great deal of improvement.
You had a chance to talk to Cordell. I'm going to ask you about that a little bit later on in this drive. If it continues, 3rd and 13 out of the shotgun. Rush coming on a dump off, and Haynes, the rookie from Georgia, unable to bring it in. Why don't we deal with that Cordell story right now? How's he dealing with just being the backup?
Well, before the game, I talked to him. He says, hey, I'm dealing with it very fine. He said, when I was younger, I would have been very upset, but he says, you know what, Solomon, I'm 30 years old, I'm older and wiser, and I understand that this comes with playing quarterback. in the National Football League. He felt that last year going to the Pro Bowl was confirmation to himself that he can play at a top level in this league. And he says, you know what, I have the confidence in myself. No one's going to take that away from me. He says, and whether I have a future in Pittsburgh or with somewhere else, I have to remain hopeful that I will play again.
You know what's strange, though? The same thing happened to Cordell after the last time they went to the AFC Championship game. He comes back the next year. He throws 3 picks in the AFC Championship game, just like this past season against New England, then comes back and just can't find that rhythm. There's a catch made. And a fair catch by Dennis Northcutt. Early on in the second quarter, Browns get the football back, and they lead it 7-3. Cleveland with the lead, 7-3. Hey, you can get all your fantasy football updates and check out other great fantasy games. It's all at CBSSportsline.com or on America Online. Enter keyword CBS Sportsline. Browns are facing a 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line. Tim Couch with Aaron Shea and Mark Campbell, a 2 tight end set. Fake the handoff. Couch. Protection is there. Airing it out. Couch. Middle of the field. He's open. Quincy Morgan. Morgan is wrestled down just short of the 5 by Dwayne Washington. And a big play from Couch to Morgan on 1st down.
And they do it off the play action. You have to be surprised that they can do play action because they have the worst running game in the National Football League. But they're able to get behind Dwayne Washington, number 20, with Quincy Morgan, who struggled 1 week ago. Dropped 3 balls against the Jets, and they pulled him out of that game. But he comes out today and gives his team a big play. Tim Couch showing strength in that elbow. He gets the ball out in front of Morgan, and he doesn't even have to break stride.
63 yards. It's the longest completion of the season for Couch. And Couch went to the line of scrimmage and just took a timeout. It's a 1st and goal from the 7 for the Browns. They lead it 7-3 early in the second quarter. Big catch for Quincy Morgan, who found himself benched last week in that Jet game. And he got an opportunity here in the first half, setting up a 1st and goal from the 7. After the timeout, and penalty markers come flying. Might have been on that left side with Stokes.
False start. Offense, number 82. 5 yards remains, 1st down.
Steve Hyden, the tight end, the 3rd tight end that was in there.
Here's a look at the touchdown. They play action to the left, and Morgan goes right over the top. And that's how they do it. They get open because they use the play action fake, running strong side left, and Morgan just uses the speed to blow past the cornerback, who didn't have any help from the safety. And so it's a big gain, 63-yard pass play to set up an opportunity for a touchdown.
1st and goal now from the 12. Jamel White. Here's White with a burst through a hole. And wrapped up at the 2 by Lee Flowers. Now, they could talk all they want about splitting carries between Green and White, but from what I've seen this year, and I think I'm speaking for you as well, Jamel White has been the much more effective running back, no contest.
Well, I think it's quite obvious. Even when you talk to the Pittsburgh Steelers, they said if we're going to try to take away anything from this Cleveland Brown offense, we have to take away Jamel White. They didn't mention William Green. White is a guy who can not only run the ball from the backfield, but on 3rd down, he's very effective at catching the ball out of the backfield.
2nd and goal from the 2. White, play fake, Couch, throws, end zone, and dropped by Campbell. A flag down. Back of the end zone, Campbell with a juggling act. And 2 penalty markers on the play.
Well, it's going to go against Chad Scott. He never turned around to play the football and basically shielded the vision of Mark Campbell. That's going to be pass interference every time.
Here's Mike Carey.
Pass interference. Defense, number 30. A foul occurred in the end zone. The ball is placed at the 1-yard line. Automatic. 1st down.
And it is Scott, who is known as a physical cornerback at 6'1", 200 pounds.
Well, see, you see right here, he's not looking back at the ball. He jumps in front of Mark Campbell and watching. He's not looking to play the ball. He's just disrupting the vision, and that's pass interference when you're not playing the football.
1st and goal now from the 1. Great opportunity for the Browns. Handoff. Jamel White is cut down by James Farrior. Farrior playing in this 3-4 defense. And stepping in for the man that signed with the Browns, Earl Holmes.
Yeah, this is where Cleveland has really struggled. 15th in the NFL in red zone offense, and that's because of their inability to run the football. When you have to throw it down here, so many bad things can happen. Not much room in the passing game.
2nd and goal now for the Browns. Cleveland trying to extend its lead, up 7-3. Handed off. White gets another opportunity and stuffed. Rodney Bailey among those involved. First man there for Pittsburgh. And it brings up 3rd and goal from the 1.
Well, they only have 3 rushing touchdowns. And look, no movement up front with the offensive line. James Farrier, number 51, getting in there, stuffing it. Only 3 rushing touchdowns all season long by this Cleveland Brown offense, and Jamel White has 2 of them. And he's looking for his 3rd.
Pivotal play here on a 3rd and goal from the 1. Play fake. They'll try to throw it in. Couch. Dropped by Campbell. Back of the end zone. The tight end could not haul it in.
Well, it was a good throw by Tim Couch, but Chad Scott, he never got around to find the football. Looks like the Browns are going to go for it.
Opportunity here for Butch Davis to try to take momentum in this game and take control with a 14-3 lead. How about this decision, Solomon?
Well, I think it's a good decision, but you have to be strong up front and believe in your offensive line to create some movement.
On a 4th and goal. Rollout, throw, and caught. Touchdown, Steve Hyden. The Browns take a chance, and it pays off. And a chance to take a 14-3 advantage.
Now, here's what they saw in the 2 previous pass plays. Mark Campbell was open. He had the pass interference call on Chad Scott, and then Mark Campbell dropped one. But here they just run play action and goes to Hyden. He's wide open each and every time. And Tim Couch made the throw last time. Campbell dropped the ball. This time it goes to Hyden, and he makes the touchdown reception.
And the first touchdown of the season for Hyden. Couch looks up to the heavens. And Phil Dawson with his 2nd extra point of the day. 14-3. Cleveland with the lead in the first half. This isn't exactly a situation they're accustomed to.
On CBS. He's sponsored by Ford. No boundaries. Subway. Fresh-made sandwiches on fresh baked bread. Subway. Eat fresh. And by the United States Postal Service.
Great football town, Cleveland, Ohio. They've been waiting for a pivotal, critical game in November. They've got one here today against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They lead it 14-3. Tim Couch to Steve Hyden, the 1-yard touchdown to add to the lead. Antoine Randall-El. And Randall-El got caught from the side as he comes up just short of the 30. Andre Davis, the linebacker on special teams, 12-yard return. Here's Butch Davis's reaction after he goes for it on 4th down.
Well, he said this is the biggest game since the Cleveland Browns have returned since 1999. You know, in half the games that he's coached here, 12 of the 24 games that he's been the coach, it's come down to the very last minute. So you know he wanted that touchdown. He doesn't want to get down to a nail biter in this, a very big ball game.
A couple good things happened for Butch Davis in that drive as well, showing confidence in his team going for it on 4th down, and also getting Quincy Morgan's confidence back with that long pass from Couch. Amos Zaraway with Gerard Warren stout up front.
And now it's up to the defense to keep it going. We know that this Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line is very good. Just about everyone on that front offensive line is a first-round pick, including the tight end, Mark Bruner, so they can get moving. I think it's the best offensive line in all of football. Chucky Okobe, he's replacing Jeff Hardings, but they're still pretty good up front. You know they're going to be strong and physical at the point of attack.
Steelers have been beating teams soundly in recent weeks. Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Baltimore. Not the case so far today. Maddox for Ward, who comes back for the football, then squirts upfield. Dalen McCutcheon with a tackle, a pickup of 7 and short of a first down.
And under Foge Fazio, this defense, they run that 4-3 front, and They run zone coverages behind it, and he wants everyone to come up, make tackles. Don't give up the big plays, no explosion plays. So he says if we can keep everything in front and make tackles, he said we'll have ourselves a pretty good day.
And that defense locked up the Jets in the second half last week, and that's really where the comeback starts. You've got to make stops, and that's what the Browns were able to do. Rollout on a 3rd and 2. Maddox throwing, complete to Ward, and a first down. That's a guy, and I know it's been said over and over again, Hines Ward is a playmaker. He just makes plays. It's a 3-yard gain, but it turns into a new set of downs for Pittsburgh.
Well, he was a quarterback in college, but he still has that quarterback mentality in terms of leadership. He really infuses this football team with positive motivation and a positive confidence, and I think it spreads to the rest of the football team.
Empty backfield, no huddle offense for Pittsburgh. And a flag down. Maddox working out of the shotgun, and the rush was coming.
Outside. Defense. Number 92 is unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Courtney Brown getting a jump, and there's the reason why.
Well, Tommy Maddox, he's a very good quarterback. He's beyond his years. You know, he's been around for a long time and took a few years off in the NFL and went to play in the Arena League, but he still has a ton of experience where he can draw the defenders off sides with the hard count.
Shotgun again for Maddox. On first down. In stride, Ward is spun down just inside Cleveland territory at the 49, and a little pushing and shoving after the fact. Anthony Henry able to bring him down with the tackle.
And all the receivers talk about Tommy Maddox. They talk about the timing throws. He allows you to catch the ball and continue to run the ball. They're going with no huddle just, I think, to try to pick up the pace of this offense. They've been sort of lethargic, and this is what Tommy Maddox brings to the table because he's quick in his release, and he's very accurate. That's why you're seeing the no-huddle offense.
And another first down for the Steelers. Throwing on a sideline toss to Randall L. And it's short passes that's doing the trick right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers, allowing the receivers to create after the catch. That's a gain of 6.
And this is what I think they can do differently without Cordell Stewart. Normally they would rely on that offensive line in the running game to get them back into football games, but they have an option here to keep the defense off balance by relying on the arm of Tommy Maddox and their quick and speedy receivers to try to, increase the tempo.
Back to the line of scrimmage in a hurry. This time they'll mix it up. Running play, Zeraway, and this is where they can catch you off guard. Pass, 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 a run, and Zeraway finds a hole, a flag down. If it holds up, it's another first down for Pittsburgh as Zeraway picked up 7 yards. Able to rush it to the 36-yard line. Zeraway in for the injured Jerome Bettis, second straight week, out with a knee injury, and another penalty against the Browns defense.
Since when do you see the Pittsburgh offense spreading you out and running the football?
After the ball was dead, personal foul. The defense, number 33, a blow to the head. 15 yards from the end of the run, automatic. First down.
Dalen McCutcheon called on the penalty for Cleveland, and they are going to mark the football just short of the 20-yard line of the Browns.
Oh, costly penalty. Defense has been doing a good job up to this point, and now Pittsburgh's on the move simply because they've gone to the no huddle and they've been able to increase the tempo, and I think they've caught this defense off balance, and now they're going back to the huddle and to their more base offense.
Steelers finally finding a flow on offense here in the first half. 8:35 mark, second quarter. Maddox, four-step drop, throwing, caught, Hines Ward, touchdowns, Pittsburgh.
And what a stick throw by Tommy Maddox to Hines Ward. Hines can't believe it. He said, I didn't even have to wait on that ball. As soon as he turned around, that ball was right in the seam, right on top of Hines Ward, who just used his remarkable gift of hands to haul that ball in.
And tells the crowd to hush up.
Now watch as he stems in towards that. As soon as he turns the head around, look, the ball's in before Dalen McCutcheon can react and play defense. And Hines Ward said, what a beautiful throw. That one was just too easy.
Maddox on that drive, 5 of 5, 42 yards. And a touchdown to Ward. Peterson, the extra point. 7th touchdown of the season for the fifth-year wide receiver from Georgia. 7-play, 70-yard drive. Steelers right back in it in the second.
Happy birthday.
Cleveland 14, Pittsburgh 10. 8:29 to play until halftime here in Cleveland. Hines Ward played a major role on that drive as Maddox completed all of his passes, the majority of which went to Ward, including the touchdown. Peterson to kick it off. Davis and Jackson are deep, and this will be Davis from the 2. Andre Davis out to the 30, almost broke one as he crossed the 35. Deshae Townsend down low, able to curtail Davis, and a 32-yard run back. Injury on the play. Andre Davis came across that 30-yard line, and you thought he had a shot to go the distance.
I like Andre Davis. He's a young, energetic football player, a rookie, but look at the speed and the confidence. I'm going to tell you, it takes a lot of confidence to hit the hole like that on a kickoff return, because those defenders are coming full speed, and believe me, when they hit you, it hurts. So he didn't slow down and didn't lack confidence as he came forward to try to break off a big one.
Kevin Bentley was the Cleveland player shaken up, and Bentley, who has been getting more involved on the defensive side of the ball in recent weeks, he's the rookie out of Northwestern, 4th-round pick. Overhead today, Goodyear's Akron base blimp, the Spirit of Goodyear, here to provide our aerial views. The Goodyear blimp has been a familiar sight in the American sky since 1925, and we're thrilled to have them here today visiting us here at Cleveland Browns Stadium.
Now let's see if Tim Couch can get the offense going. They're going to spread it out with their 3 wide receiver set and Jamel White in the backfield. So you like to spread out this Steelers defense to try to create some big plays for yourself.
And now William Green will get an opportunity. He's in the backfield, but Cleveland wants to throw it. Couch over the middle, and a very short gainer. Kevin Johnson give him 2 yards on the pass and catch. Joey Porter, the linebacker, swung him down to the turf.
And when teams try to spread out this Pittsburgh Steelers defense like what we saw in the first 2 weeks, the Patriots and then the Raiders put up some huge numbers. They'll move Joey Porter from that right outside linebacker position, and they'll move him inside to middle linebacker. And Clark Higgins is a young linebacker that, you know what, he can get to the quarterback, so he comes in and replaces Joey Porter on the outside.
On a 2nd and 8 from the 36. Here's the pitch. William Green hits the hole hard, and then spilled out across the 40-yard line. Teams have not been able to run on this Pittsburgh defense in recent weeks. Corey Dillon couldn't, Edgerrin James couldn't, and last week Jamal Lewis couldn't. He was held to 34 yards on 13 carries. That was a 5-yard run for Green.
Well, Green finally came in, and that's something that we haven't seen from him all year, is hitting the hole hard. As you said, there's been times when he's been very hesitant to press the hole with authority, and now you see the running back coach Todd McNair saying, hey, that was a good job. That's what we're talking about. You have to hit it up in there and hope to pop one.
Now a 3rd and 3. Rollout. Couch steps up and down. Tim Couch with Rodney Bailey chasing him. And Bailey will have his sack number 3.5 recorded on that play.
Well, Bailey can thank Aaron Smith, number 91. See, he comes up and contains the football and forces Couch to go back inside, and that's what allows the pass rush to get to him. And Rodney Bailey picks up the sack, but you should go over and thank Aaron Smith.
And the Browns forced to punt it for the 2nd time. Chris Gardocki with Antoine Randall L. waiting at his own 25-yard line. Bailey, in just his 2nd year from Ohio State, provides solid depth in this 3-4 front. Clock is stopped. Play clock's at 2. Mike Carey will sort it all out. Game clock at 6:29.
There is no Cleveland timeout. Please put 5 seconds on the play clock. 5 seconds on the play clock.
Put the play clock at 5. Gardocki standing at his own 19-yard line.
And be careful, because Antoine Randall L. and this special teams unit has had time to try to set something up. He told us he's looking to break a big one.
Now, we mentioned it earlier. Santana Moss brought one back last week. 63 yards on a punt return for a touchdown. We're still sorting things out time-wise.
Well, Bill Cowher, he wants an explanation. He's yelling to the officials.
It took until the 6:29 mark of the 2nd quarter to get that kind of reaction from Bill Cowher.
Bill doesn't like it.
Browns only had 10 players on the field. That might have been the reason why Cower was screaming out. Feels like the officials bailed him out.
Yeah, he wants a better explanation for why you need to stop the clock in order to put more time on it.
Bill Cowher told us he knows how important this game is to the city of Cleveland. He knows this city, having played here, coached here. A lot of emotions when he comes into this town. Unfortunately, the bus seems to get lost a lot of the time when they come in here.
Yeah, the bus got lost again last night. That's right. It kept us waiting for our meeting, but it was an enjoyable meeting with Bill Cowher and many of his fine football players. But they've been coming here for years. I don't understand how they keep getting lost.
Takes a roll for Gardocki, and it's down just short of the 25-yard line. That's where the Steelers will have it. Breaking the action with the Browns in front.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Gateway, a better way, and by OPA, the small business network from American Express. New tools for a small business economy.
Cleveland with a 14-10 lead over the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Pittsburgh has gotten the football back, and Antoine Randall has checked in, working out of the shotgun. Second time today that he has called the signals. Randall gives it to Hines Ward.
Throw it.
And Hines slings it. Complete. Plexico Burris with flags down. Earl Little is spilled out at the 45-yard line. There's a flag back all the way at the 18-yard line for Pittsburgh. Couple of flags, one at the 18 and one at the 32.
And this injury to Little could really hurt their defense because Robert Griffith, the starting strong safety, he's out of the ball game.
Griffith has been out with a shoulder injury. Penalty against both teams. So again, they reach into their bag of tricks with Randall.
There are fouls by both teams. Holding by number 87 of the offense, and personal foul, roughing the passer, number 56 of the defense, a blow to the head of the passer. Any player throwing the ball is a passer. That is a foul. Those fouls offset. Replay. First down.
Well said by Mike Carey, and it was a 32-yard play that's coming back.
Well, it's going to come in. Multiple quarterbacks. Goes from Antoine Randall to Hines Ward. He's looking up the field to Plexico Burris, and he comes back to the ball. Does a good job of fighting for the ball, but it's going to come back because of the holding on Mark Bruner. But there's a late hit by Hambrick on Hines Ward, and that's just like going to the head of the quarterback.
And right now, concern over Earl Little, who was just helped off the field. Injury already to Kennard Lang, right groin, and Kevin Bentley, an elbow injury. We'll get the word on Little as soon as we have it. We'll pass it along. Back it up to the 25-yard line and a 1st and 10. They'll run it to Zaraway. Amos Zaraway runs into his own man, Kendall Simmons, and Michael Jamison helped tackle him. And Jamison stepped in for Earl Little after the injury.
With the versatile talent of so many of the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive players, Hines Ward, of course, and Antoine Randall and Tommy Maddox, 3 players who can all throw the ball as if they're a quarterback. I mean, it just gives you so many possibilities, as an offensive coordinator that really you can keep the defense off balance.
And that's without Cordell Stewart in the mix. You still have him at your disposal if you want to. Baron Haynes. And he is spun down, a gain of 1. Holmes and Bush collaborating to bring down the first-year pro. And it sets up 3rd and short. Under 5 minutes to go until halftime. Cleveland with a 14-10 lead. And we were half joking with Tim Couch regarding this team coming from behind. He said, with a smile on his face, I'm not sure what we would do if we actually had a lead. We'd probably panic because we're so used to rallying.
Yeah, they don't know anything of the sort. They don't know what it's like, so they're used to playing in tight ball games like this.
But it's Cleveland that's ahead in this one. Maddox on a shovel and a toss forward. Look at the running by Zaraway. Big play for the Steelers into Cleveland territory at the 43. Chicanery left and right for Pittsburgh offensively.
It is the misdirection. See, they pitch it out and then the shovel pass, so that spreads out the interior part of the defensive line, creating running room for Amos Zaraway. Sometimes he does look like a Barry Sanders. He said that's who he models himself afterwards, but he said, I can only do the easy moves, not the difficult ones, but he can find the big hole left by that offensive line.
Maddox out of the shotgun, and it's ruled incomplete. Randall L., the intended receiver. Keep in mind, that shovel pass, that is a pass by Randall L. And the second completion for him today, he's got 26 yards.
Mike Malarkey, he's pulling out all the stops using the talent of Antoine Randall L. and Hines Ward, and they're making big plays for him.
Pittsburgh on the move again, a 2nd and 10 at the 43-yard line. Maddox checking off, Zaraway in the backfield. Take the pass, hand it off. Zaraway, 30, Zaraway, 20, out of bounds at the 17-yard line. Alan Faneca with a block, and Randall L. getting involved as well. Everybody pitching in.
It was a complete side of that left offensive line. Watch Wayne Gandy and Faneca. They just blocked down, and Antoine Randall L., he's out in front of Amos Zaraway blocking 2 defenders, creating more running room. And that's the team concept that Bill Cowher was talking about. He said, we have good players on this football team who set examples for the younger ball players, and they know what it takes to come out and compete and work hard.
58 yards rushing for Zaraway on 11 carries. Line of scrimmage is now the 16. Veron Hayes lost the football, and Maddox able to cover it up. As Tommy Maddox tried the shovel, they'll rule it incomplete.
Well, that time, Gerard Warren, he says, you know what, you can fool me once, but you're not going to fool me twice. And watch, he'll just sit, and he comes in and makes the play. That was just an excellent play, that time by Courtney Brown. He sniffed it out.
Clock is stopped. 3:18 to go until halftime. Cleveland 14, Pittsburgh 10. Browns got on the board first after a tremendous punt return by Dennis Northcutt. They got a touchdown couch to Hayden, but the Steelers have battled back. Play clock was winding down, and Maddox just took a timeout. Maddox, though, remains on the field. Did they reward him the timeout? That's a delay by the officials. Pittsburgh may have caught another break. 2nd and 10 from the 16. They'll pitch it. Zaraway dances his way to the 13. Devin Bush with a tackle as Zaraway took a hit. Give him a gain of 3.5.
That time Zaraway misread the block by the fullback, Dan Kreider, and almost broke it outside, but he's supposed to go underneath, and he still had the quickness to recover and pick up a sizable gain.
Solomon, that play clock never reset. That's why you saw 0. Tommy Maddox looked up and said, I better call a timeout. The officials realized they had made a mistake. And that's why no timeout was charged. On a 3rd and 7. 4-receiver look. Spread the field. Maddox throwing to a spot. And it's caught at the 1 by Burris. First down, Pittsburgh. Oh, Tommy Maddox can put the ball where he wants to.
And they're going to go no huddle and try to line up and get a quick touchdown, but Plexico Burris, he's still celebrating.
Now trying to get things sorted out with a 1st and goal. Clock is winding down. We're probably going to hit the 2-minute warning here. And Pittsburgh backs off the line of scrimmage. Well, Tommy Maddox, one of the unlikely success stories this year in the NFL. He's living up to it here in the first half.
Right. What's the resolution?
Don't forget, coming up, the Nextel halftime report. Jim, Dion, Dan, Boomer, special guest, Kansas City quarterback Trent Green. All the scores and highlights that's coming up on the Nextel halftime report. Cleveland Browns leading the Steelers 14-10. Plexico Burris with a catch at the 1-yard line, setting up a 1st and goal for Pittsburgh and a chance to grab the lead for the first time today. 3 tight ends in this formation. Power formation on a 1st and goal. Maddox faked the handoff. Maddox throws to the end zone. Wide open Bruner. Touchdown Steelers. First touchdown of the season for the tight end Mark Bruner. And again, Tommy Maddox in complete control. Set up by that pass to Burris.
And he also had the great play-action fake, and he's able to conceal the football. Bruner's wide open. No one was even close. Dwayne Rudd is in the chase position, but he's not even close to Bruner to break up the pass.
And this crowd has quieted down considerably as Peterson tacks on the extra point. A 9-play, 75-yard drive. It took up 4 minutes and 22 seconds. The man they call Tommy Gunn now in front.
What threat?
You have 17-14 advantage, a minute 56 to go in the second quarter. Cleveland got off to such a terrific start, and Pittsburgh has been able to battle back.
You know, there's the play action. Bruner comes off, and all the linebackers, they come up to try to stop the run. Tommy Maddox just dumps it over their head, over to Mark Bruner for an easy touchdown pass.
Tommy Maddox, he said this time around, as opposed to his first career, as he likes to call it, he's just a lot more prepared for it, physically, mentally. He thought he was prepared when he was 20 years old, but he can look back on it now and realize that he was not. Kickoff by Peterson. Davis, return man from the 4. Flag down. And Davis just short of the 30-yard line. Another flag comes flying in from the other side of the field. Pittsburgh felt they were held by Cleveland. Flag was thrown initially as Davis was making his return, and then at the end of the play, penalty marker came flying in. Penalties so far, just 1 on Pittsburgh, 4 against the Browns, and this one is against Cleveland.
During the return, holding by the return team number 82, excuse me. Half the distance is goal, first down.
Steve Hyden called on the penalty. Let's get an injury update down to Marcus Allen.
Well, the report on Earl Little is he walked into the locker room and he has a sprained knee and his return is questionable. And as Solomon alluded to, the Browns can ill afford to lose another defensive back. Back upstairs.
Earl Little now back out there. Only 2 tackles today, but that return is a question mark right now. 1st and 10 from the 10. And the Browns now find themselves in a more familiar position of trailing as we get ready to hit halftime. Couch in the pocket. Couch trying to avoid the rush and cannot. Did not see anybody open, and Clark Hagan's made him pay.
The Browns are at that point in the ball game and in this area of the football field where they have to be very careful and really protect the football. Can't afford any mistakes in terms of turnovers, and giving Pittsburgh another opportunity to put points on the board.
Pittsburgh uses a timeout trying to limit the clock here and a chance to maybe get the football back. And another reminder that the next halftime report is coming up. Jim Dion, Dan, and Boomer. Special guest, Chiefs QB Trent Green. Scores and highlights around the NFL Week 9 coming up on the Nextel halftime report. A personal record for Tim Couch. He's now gone 121 straight passes without an interception, which... You look at the big picture. You're saying I've got that kind of power.
I don't know, but it seems like when you always say it, that's when something bad happens. So, Tim Couch, watch out.
I'm just doing the job. I'm just providing the information.
That's right.
Don't blame the messenger.
I have to admit, you've been a good luck charm for me, buddy.
It's nice. At least somebody thinks so.
It's been all good.
Not sure my wife feels the same way, but that's a different issue. Minute 39. Left in the second quarter. And a lot of movement. And things have gotten a little sloppy here after neither one of these teams were making many mistakes for the first quarter and change. And all of a sudden, Mike Carey is a busy man.
False start. Offense, number 79. Half the distance to the goal. Till second down.
That's Barry Stokes on the left side of that offensive line. Former Dolphin, former Packer. Signed as a free agent this year. And the Browns are going in the wrong direction. 2nd and 16 from the 4. White in the backfield. He's in his own end zone. On a toss, Northcutt has to create after the catch. And a hole closed up quickly as Joey Porter brought him down. A gain of 5.
Now you have to understand, Cleveland, their ability to run the football is almost nil. So they have to do some very creative things to try to get the ball out in space, and they had 2 blockers that time out in front of Dennis Northcutt. So it was a well-designed play. Just have to do a better job of executing, picking up the blocks so that he can use his quickness to get into the open field.
So in your mind, that's a running play. Even though obviously it's a throw, that acts as a running play for them deep in their own territory.
That's exactly how they see it. The offensive coordinator, Bruce Arians, he says, you know, we struggled to run the football, so we have to use those short passing games. And if we gain 5 yards or 6 yards, he said, we just treat that like a short run. It's not how you get there as long as you get there. And what they want to do is try to avoid the situation they're in now is 3rd and long.
Turns out to be an extended handoff. They did get some yards out of it, but as you said, it's still 3rd and 11. Pittsburgh calling timeouts because they want to get the football back here with 1:30 showing on the clock. And now some pressure on the Browns with the line of scrimmage just short of their own 9. Shotgun. Couch steps up. Sidearms to Jamel White. And White out of bounds. Why?
The worst thing you could do.
Pittsburgh is out of timeouts.
Even the fans know, and these are intelligent football fans here in Cleveland. They're just like, don't do that. Don't go out of bounds. Stay inbounds. You don't get the first down. Make sure you go down inbound.
Correction. Pittsburgh has 1 timeout remaining, but he just handed him one.
He sure did. Did him a favor, and Rich Davis is coaching him up right now. He said, that's what we don't want to do.
And Gardocki forced to punt it standing in his own end zone. Antoine Randall should get an opportunity. That's a short punt. It does take a good roll for Cleveland, and they will touch it up at the 49-yard line. But there's 1:12 on the clock. Pittsburgh has a timeout remaining. Just a 39-yard punt from Gardocki in the field position, the 49 of the Steelers.
Well, Bill Cowher's not happy. He wanted an opportunity to catch that punt to pick up some positive yards. That time, Antoine Randall wasn't able to get under it. That punt fell a little bit short and didn't roll, but he says, hey, it's not like in college where all the punts were short. He expects the ball to be kicked a great distance where he will have a chance to catch it before the gunners on the outside can get to him.
Tommy Maddox, he suffered a left ankle injury midway through the 3rd quarter last week, but showed his toughness, came back after Cordell had to spell him for just a short period of time, and told us feeling no ill effects of it this week in this matchup with Cleveland. 1st and 10. From the 49, chance for Pittsburgh to put more points on the board before they go to the locker room. Handoff, Zaraway, dancing to midfield, and then stood up if they give him forward progress to the 49. And flags come drifting into your picture. 2 of them, in fact.
Well, Cleveland's going to do him a favor here because the play was over, and they're digging in, trying to rake the football.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness on the defense. Number 99. Hitting the runner when he was already down. 15 yards, automatic. 1st down.
Orpheus Roy, who is a former Steeler, signing here with the Browns last year as a free agent.
Well, see, they're coming in. See, he's down. At this point, he's down. Now, there's no reason to come in and try to give it any extra, but there he is. He leads with the head, comes in late. The play was over. You know, they pat him on the butt. They should just slap him upside the head because that's a very silly play that time by Orpheus Roy.
Cleveland came in averaging just over 7 penalties a game. They've got 7 in the first half. Shotgun, Maddox. Maddox throwing, incomplete. He skied one over the head of Hines Ward. And with an even 1 minute to go in the 2nd quarter, Pittsburgh with a 2nd and 10 at the 34-yard line.
Now, the strategy here, I think Pittsburgh, they can spread them out. The Tommy Gunn offense has worked for you so far today and allow Tommy Maddox to get rid of the ball quickly. I'd go no huddle here because timeouts are in short supply. I think they're all out, so you have to go out. They have 1 more, so you have to take some shots and go with the no huddle offense and allow the quick passing game to get you into the end zone.
Hines Ward sets up parallel to Maddox out of the shotgun formation. Maddox steps up. He'll throw the long ball. Too high for Plexico Burress. And that's saying something for a man that's 6'5 and a half, as he likes to point out.
And Maddox has been very accurate all day, at least here in the first half. That time trying to elude the pass rush and threw that time off his back foot. This is Burris working against number 37, Anthony Henry. Had him beat. He's wide open for a touchdown. Overthrows him by 5 yards.
Solomon, right now they're looking at about a 52-yard field goal attempt. The career long 54 for Peterson. Season long is 46. They need extra yardage to get more within his range. On a 3rd and 10 from the 34. Out of the gun. Maddox set it up in the flat. Hines Ward sheds one tackler. Ward accelerates and out of bounds at the 27-yard line. He made Anthony Henry miss, and he just helped out his kicker Peterson with a 7-yard gain.
And Ward was smart that time. He wanted to pick up the first down and saw that he couldn't. Did the smart thing by just running out of bounds and stopping the clock.
So Todd Peterson ready to go. Steelers have the one timeout left, and that's what we're waiting on right now. 49 seconds left to go in the first half. Steelers with a 17-14 lead, and Pittsburgh has used its final timeout. Peterson knocked one in from 43 yards away. And a chance to pad that lead here before halftime for Pittsburgh. Log on to NFL.com and see what the analysts had to say in their midseason report cards about MVP picks, Rookie of the Year choices, surprise teams, disappointments, and much, much more. It's all at NFL.com or on America Online. Just enter keyword NFL.com. I'd say midway through this season, MVP, Drew Bledsoe is going to get some votes for turning around the Buffalo Bills.
That's right. He's going to get some votes, but I think the job Brett Favre is doing, he may be in for a record 4th MVP, and doing just an excellent job with that football team.
Priest Holmes, another name that should come up in conversation, but it is the midway point.
Still a lot of work to be done.
Now waiting for Peterson to come on, he's not. This is 4th and 4.
And they're going to go for it. They're going to take a shot. Watch out for the trick play. And maybe Bill Cowher doesn't feel like 3 points is going to do him some good, but I tend to think that it would.
It would have been a 45-yard attempt. Wind is swirling a bit, but instead they're going for it. Let's call it 4th and a long 3. Maddox throwing, complete. Plexico Burris at the 10-yard line.
Now they have to go quickly and beware. They're going to take a shot at the end zone.
14 yards. Maddox to Burris, and they rush up to the line of scrimmage. First down at the 10, and Maddox will spike it down to stop the clock with 31 seconds to go, first half. Butch Davis screaming from the sideline.
They go to Burris. He had been open before, had beaten Anthony Henry, and Maddox had overthrown him, but this is just a slant route. He hits him in stride. Henry makes the tackle, but not until Burris made the catch. And just a risky call that time, I think, by Bill Cowher in their decision to go for it on 4th down.
They will have a couple of cracks at it, though. Shotgun. Maddox steps up, throwing to the end zone, and picked off. Lewis Sanders with the interception. Sanders shoveling tacklers, and here's Sanders at the 26-yard line. And Tommy Maddox, who has been so effective for this Pittsburgh offense and so accurate as well, has one come back on him.
So it does come back to bite him by not allowing Todd Peterson to go for the field goal and getting 20 points on the board. They risk trying to throw the ball on the outside, looking for Antoine Randall, and Lewis Sanders comes away with the interception, just cuts right underneath the route. So he was just good route recognition by Lewis Sanders, and this ball needs more air under it to get to the corner to Antoine Randall.
First interception of the season for Sanders, and the 9th as a team for Cleveland. They'll go conservative here, and why not? Take a knee, head to the locker room in a tight game between these two rivals out of the AFC North. Maddox knows that he left points on the field there. 17-14. Pittsburgh leading it. Let's go downstairs to Marcus Allen.
Thanks, I'm down here with Coach Butch Davis. Coach, you guys got off to a great start. The Steelers came roaring back. What are you going to have to do to change momentum? I mean, that last play was huge, but what do you have to do in the long run?
Big play gave us a chance for a little bit of momentum. We're not getting any kind of pressure. We've got to break the rhythm and the tempo of the quarterback. He's doing a hell of a job hanging in there. Every now and then, a little bit of max protection. They're getting the ball down and play, and too many big plays.
Well, good luck, Coach. Back time.
All right, Marcus, thanks very much. End of the first half. Competitive football game with Pittsburgh in front at the break, 17-14. Coming up next. Nextel halftime report. You'll see it after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Thursday will keep you guessing. First, two tribes living together on one beach. Now, who's your friend and who's your enemy?
Franchises, November 22nd, 1959, Municipal Stadium. Cleveland tied with New York for the lead in the then Eastern Conference, and Jim Brown, he takes over. But Pittsburgh pulls off the win, 21-20, as we welcome you back now here at Cleveland Brown Stadium. Ian Eagle along with Solomon Wilcots, and first half really was breezing by in that first quarter, and all of a sudden, about the 7-minute mark of that second quarter, it came down to a crawl, and the last couple of minutes took forever to play. What are you looking forward to second half? How do these styles contrast in this second half?
Well, I think what we'll see is we'll see more of the Tommy Gunn offense. Tommy Maddox has been doing a great job throwing the football. They've racked up over 240 yards, and that's really because Cleveland has not been able to put pressure on the quarterback. So they've done a good job of protecting Tommy Maddox. He's made the big throws. They're really going to have to force Cleveland to play more man-to-man coverage so that they can commit more to the pass rush, and they have to be able to get to the quarterback.
You look at the numbers, though, and Cleveland offensively, they got that jolt on special teams from Dennis Northcutt, but offensively, they haven't done much. They had the one drive, Tim Couch connecting with Steve Hyden for the touchdown, but other than that, really not much to speak of on the offensive side of the ball.
Only 99 yards for the Cleveland offense in the first half, and most of which have come in the passing game. Their inability to run football has just handicapped the offense because every time they want to do something, they're forced to drop back with Tim Couch, and so they're going to have to make some plays in the passing game, and they have some great receivers. They are the guys who are going to have to put some points on the board.
Fridgman Jackson with a return as Pittsburgh kicks it off. Lee Mays makes the tackle on special teams. Cleveland offense, 99 total yards, and 63 of them came on a Quincy Morgan reception. So if you want to look at it strictly from a numbers standpoint, Cleveland's just fortunate to be in this football game. 17-14. Steelers with the lead. We are just underway in the third quarter. On a handoff, Jamel White. White trying that left side, and only a gain of 1.5. Kendrell Bell, haven't called his name very much this afternoon. He makes the stop. But in the second half, the Browns, last couple of games, it's been their half. They've owned it. And last week, obviously, the come-from-behind victory over the New York Jets, trailing 21-3. This is a 2nd and 9. Couch steps up and throws. Tip up in the air and intercepted. Brent Alexander off the deflection. And Alexander brought down at the 48. It was tipped by Bell. And Alexander with the pick, and there goes the streak for Tim Couch.
We said, we knew something was coming, but anytime you're forced to become one-dimensional on offense like the Cleveland Browns, in terms of having to throw on every play, you can commit more to the passing game. And what Pittsburgh's doing, they're rushing 3 and dropping 8 in coverage, and so they're keeping that zone defense and committing more to the pass coverage than they are to try to rush the quarterback, and they're coming away with the football.
So even though Pittsburgh was unable to carry through the momentum with points at the end of the first half, they make a momentum-changing type of defensive play to start the second half. Maddox, plenty of time off play action. Zeraway in for the injured Bettis. Stutter step move and a flag down as he crosses the 40-yard line, and a first down for Pittsburgh if it stands. He picked up 10. But this one is coming back. Tim Couch, 122 attempts, and his first pick.
Well, the Browns had jumped out to a good start with the big return by Dennis Northcutt, but they have since lost momentum because
Illegal block in the back by the offense, number 86. 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
Hines Ward called on that penalty for Couch at his interception number 7 on the season.
Yeah, the Cleveland Brown offense, they can't move the football, and now the defense is starting to give up some plays, so they're going to have to regroup. They're going to have to build and rally around Tim Couch. He has been able to bring them back in recent weeks, but they don't want to fall too far behind because this Pittsburgh Steelers offense has such a good offensive line. They can play keep away from you and really never give you the ball back.
Orpheus Roy able to get up and walk off. Earl Little, by the way, Marcus Allen had that report on Little earlier, and Little is back on the field despite a mild MCL sprain. So the depth was tested in the secondary and is still being tested for the Cleveland Browns. Alvin McKinley will come in for Roy, who just went to the sideline on a 1st and 20 after the penalty on Hines Ward. Make it a 1st and 12. Handoff, Zaraway. And back into Cleveland territory at the 49. He picks up 2 yards. Earl Holmes with the stop. And Holmes, he said the first time that he played Pittsburgh, felt when they were flying in from Cleveland that he felt he was back home again. Then he took the field and he was booed, and he realized that was closure for him.
He said it was like home, but once he came to the understanding that he had been kicked out of the house and wasn't welcome back anymore, you're right, the realization set in that you are a Cleveland Brown. And he's a guy that had played in that 3-4 defense inside, and now he's in a 4-3, so it's taken him some time to adjust, but it's a fine football play.
Gerard Warren just limped off to the side. Roy is back in there for Cleveland. They're mixing and matching here because of injuries. Rollout, Maddox to Ward, and another flag. Ward out of bounds at the 44-yard line. And this one against Pittsburgh once again. You see the reaction from Ward. Was he pushing off?
Hines Ward always has that look on his face like, hey, I didn't do anything. But the officials caught him. Just a slight push-off before he came back to the ball for the reception.
Pass interference. Offense, number 86. 10 yards, remains second down.
He's always had that smile on his face. He's a guy that really enjoys playing the game of football. He gives you all he's got. He can play a number of positions. He played not only quarterback, but also running back at the University of Georgia. Came out as a receiver, so he's a guy with multiple talents, but he just enjoys playing the game. Now watching here, you see him come off working against Anthony Herring. See the slight push with the left arm? The officials caught him, but he gets away with that more times than not.
So now it's a 2nd and 20 for Pittsburgh. Ward had a big day against Cleveland in their first meeting, over 100 yards receiving. Play action. Maddox fires near side. Ward turns it upfield. Ward avoiding tacklers and then brought down at the 49. So even though Ward is called on the penalty, he makes up for it on the next play, and that smile ear to ear.
Talking about giving it all you got. He surprised himself on that one, was able to make 2 defenders miss before they were able to corral him to the ground. And talk about his multiple talents, but I think it's his leadership ability. After having played quarterback in college, he still has that same mentality. He knows that, you know what, the rest of the team, you can just feed off me, and they have a number of players on this offense with that same leadership mentality.
On a 3rd and 12, shotgun for Maddox. Steps up and throws. Wide open. The completion to Kreider. And a first down for Pittsburgh. There was nobody near him as he came up just shy of the 35. It's good for 15 yards.
Well, this has to be just so disheartening. It's 3rd and 11. Kreider, he just comes out of the backfield. No one accounts for him because of so many other weapons on the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. And by the time they make the tackle, well, it's too late. He's already picked up the first down.
That's the longest catch of fullback Dan Kreider's 3-year NFL career. And it sets up a 1st and 10 at the 36. Handoff, Zaraway, unable to bounce. Orpheus Roy, former teammate of Zaraway, spins him down. It's a loss of 4.
And the Browns have to be careful because they're committing so many at the line of scrimmage. And this time they do come up and they're able to stop the run. But you have to be aware of the play action. They're giving that look. It's a little bounce play to the outside. Orpheus Roy coming up to make the tackle. But If you're in that secondary, you have to let the linemen like Roy and Courtney Brown and some of the other guys make the tackle and stop the run, because the play action is soon to follow.
Steelers have won 11 of the last 13 over Cleveland, including the postseason. Rollout, now misdirection, and Maddox. That ball was thrown very low for Zeraway.
Well, Maddox was just getting rid of the football because Zeraway was covered. There was 3 defenders surrounding Zeraway as they were attempting to run the screen. And now they're going to throw a flag and call it intentional grounding.
Zeraway was looking over at Maddox, almost telling him, hey, that's my bad, if he didn't adjust to come back for the football.
Well, what he was saying is that, hey, I'm the guy in the area. He was throwing it to me, and that's why they're picking up the flag now, and it's going to be 3rd down.
Yep, they listened to him, and he was in that area. It came on a bounce, and it sets up 3rd and 14. Shotgun, blitz coming, dump off, Zeraway leaves his feet, and then driven towards the sideline at the 30. Gerard Warren was over on that side of the field in a 10-yard gain. They decided not to go for the long field goal at the end of the second quarter, which would have been about a 45-yarder. Now they're looking at 4th and 4 from the 30. Peterson's not coming out.
Yeah, they're going to go for it again.
This is probably about a 47-yarder, and Bill Cowher wants his offense on that field, trusting Tommy Maddox in a 4-receiver set. Haynes in the backfield. Shotgun. Maddox throws it up top. And too high for Ward. Pittsburgh turns it over on downs. Michael Jamison had coverage, the safety. And Cleveland, no damage after the interception. The Browns will get the football back. This is a 3-point game in the 3rd. See the numbers on Peterson from 40-plus yards away on the season, and the attempts is the big key there. We'll touch on that in a moment. William Green gets the carry on the outside and unable to pick up major yardage on the perimeter, but he does gain 3.5.
Well, you have to wonder what Bill Cowher thinks of his kicker, Peterson, because you won't allow him to kick it from beyond 40 yards. He's made 2 of the 3, but I think you have to go for it there. You have to give him a shot, and maybe he thinks that Maddox is so good inside the red zone where he's been 15 of 20 in terms of punching it in before coming into today's game, and he feels good about his defense. But I have to disagree. 2 times he's passed on the opportunity where he could have potentially had 6 more points on the board. You have to give your kicker a chance to make the kick.
Out of the shotgun, Couch on a 2nd and 7. Couch by himself is Jamel White. 1st down and a little bit extra as he puts the head down and gets to the 48-yard line. Hank Poteet had a chance to bring him down earlier, could not. 13 yards.
Yeah, Brazai's getting no points for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have now given the Cleveland Browns new life. The momentum is over on their side now as they pick up a 1st down, and you let Tim Couch get hot, then you can come back to regret making that decision.
Injury update for Pittsburgh defensively. Mike Logan, the backup free safety who also plays on special teams, out with a hamstring. He will not return. White, after that play, goes to the sideline, replaced by William Green. Cleveland down by 3. Fake the handoff. Couch sings one on an out pattern to Morgan. And the 2nd time today that those two have connected on a big play. But a flag down. And it's coming back.
Coming back, holding on the Cleveland Browns. And you talk about the shift in momentum, that would have given the Browns new life.
That was a 28-yard hookup. Negated.
Holding. Offense number 80. 10-yard penalty, remains 1st down.
Tight end Aaron Shea called on the hold. Cleveland's penalties, 8 of them today, costing them 69 yards.
There he is right there. You can see him now. He's getting beat by Clark Hagens. And you know what? You just can't do it. That's number 55, Joey Porter, actually, who beats Aaron Shea. He literally tackled him.
And they back it up to the 37. Couch on a dump ball. Here's White. And White is spun down at the 39-yard line. Was that a face mask? Joey Porter is barking. And no penalty marker on the play. A 2-yard gain.
And this is a key matchup today. Joey Porter at that middle linebacker position when they are in their nickel and dime defense. He's going to be matched up against a very speedy Jamel White. We talked to him about it last night. He says, you know what, I just can't over pursue. I have to play to my help. And what he did is he turned him back inside to the defense, and that's what they needed.
Fans here wanted a face mask. We just saw it on the replay there. And yeah, he did spin the head, but I don't think he ever grabbed the mask. But they're working on White. Jackson is checked in. And the fumble! Rodney Bailey on the recovery. Tim Couch backing off, lost the football, and Bailey with his first fumble recovery of the season. Bill Cowher pumps the fist, another turnover.
Wow, and if you're Butch Davis, you cannot be happy. The center, number 64, Dave Wallabaugh, doesn't get it up to Tim Couch, and he can't find the football. And they've had problems last week with Wallabaugh, who was also pulled out of the game. And Butch Davis says we do not tolerate inconsistent play. He says we don't take a guy out of the game to embarrass him, but we do want to take a guy out and let him know that we're sending a message. We won't tolerate it. When you talk about shifting momentum, it goes right back over to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
So Bailey's got a sack, he's got a fumble recovery, and he sets it up for the Steelers offense at the 39. Give to Zaraway. Met by Hambrick and pushed backwards after a gain of 2.
This Cleveland Brown football team, they're very young, and they keep shooting themselves in the foot. Aaron Shea gets the holding call and calls back the big pass play from Couch to Quincy Morgan, and then the bad snap from Wallabaugh. Right now, Bruce Arians saying, hey, guys, we have to regroup, make some plays. We're beating ourselves right now. It's not like the Pittsburgh Steelers are beating us. We're doing it to ourselves.
And Butch Davis told us he's got a young team, which means they'll fight to the end of the game, but it also means that inexperience leads to mistakes. It's that good news, bad news. Zaraway on a draw. Amos Zaraway with a first down for Pittsburgh at the 25. Earl Little, last line of defense, with a tackle after a 12-yard pickup.
It's a great tackle by Earl Little. It's just a delayed draw, and look at the gaping hole by that offensive line. Zaraway picks his spot carefully. What a tackle by Little. He's out there less than 100% with that MCL injury.
And Zaraway, the combination, 137 total yards. In for the bust, Jerome Bettis, and he does it in a different way, different style altogether. On first down, it's Zaraway through a hole. And Zaraway with that little juke move picked up 2 yards. Little again in on the stop.
And that's the second tackle in a row by Little where he saved the touchdown because Zaraway makes him miss. He's going to walk into the end zone. Little told us, he says, I'm used to coming up inside and has been used to working with Jameer Miller, who's out for the entire season. And now he says, I come up to the strong side linebacker. I have to know how to fit in under Hambrick. And they're getting used to working together, and that time showing that he's an excellent safety in terms of his run support.
And Jamel White is going to the locker room. Oh, that's a huge loss for Cleveland if it's something serious. We'll keep you updated. Play action. Maddox. Throw. Catch made. Jason Allred, no. Allred, a little used tight end, but forced into action because of an injury to Jeremy Tooman, who is out with a quadricep.
And Allred just drops that ball. It hit him right in the breadbasket. He's got to make that catch. Have to make that catch.
You know, we talk about the injury to Bettis, the injury to Tooman, injury to Fuamatu Ma'afala. I just wanted to say his name, so we just threw him in with the torn pectoral.
Well executed, but Allred, when you get a chance in the National Football League to show the coaches what you can do, you have to really help to instill some confidence in them. And that time they gave you an opportunity, so you have to make a play.
On 3rd and 8, Maddox on an out, broken up. Mathis with Henry. And the Cleveland defense continues to make plays, even though the offense put them in a tough position. Now we're going to see Todd Peterson.
Oh, watch, they let him play. There was some hand jousting between both Anthony Henry and Terrence Mathis, but they let him play. No one was able to gain an extra advantage by using their hands, but Henry had great position and made a play on the ball.
Now more within the range of Todd Peterson. It's a 41-yard attempt. Mike Schneck will snap it. Maddox will hold it. Peterson drilled one early. And Peterson, no good from 41 yards away. Maybe Cowher is on the money with his gut instinct with his kicker. He didn't try one from 47. He tried one from 41. unable to convert.
CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37. The Intel Pentium 4 processor. Can a better computer really change your life? Yes, Intel. And by Acura and the 260 horsepower TL Type S.
And whenever the Goodyear blimp is flying above a game with its camera focused on an event, you know you're going to get a unique view overhead today. The blimp, Spirit of Goodyear, based just a few miles south of Cleveland near Akron. And we thank you guys for the pictures here this afternoon. Cleveland takes over after the miss by Peterson on a 1st and 10. William Green in for the injured Jamel White. Kendrell Bell makes the tackle. It's a gain of 2. The numbers are overwhelming. It is all Pittsburgh Solomon. In time of possession, total yards, total plays, but all that matters is that scoreboard you see on the right corner, top of your screen, and it's a 3-point game.
It's a 3-point game because of the lack of ability for Peterson to convert and kick the field goal and not having an opportunity earlier in the ball game.
On the toss, Green, stutter step, now turns it upfield. And Pittsburgh was ready for him. Led by Aaron Smith. Let's go downstairs to Marcus Allen.
Well, thanks, Ian. Injuries continue to mount for the Browns. Jamil White, running back for the Browns, is in the locker room. His shoulder's been injured, and he's in there for further observation, and his return is questionable, guys.
It was a hit from Joey Porter, Marcus, but I don't know if that's where the damage was done. Porter had made contact with the helmet, and others then came in. So Green is asked to do more in this offense, but he's currently watching from the sideline on a 3rd and 7.
5 wide receivers in the game with Jamel White out.
Shotgun. Couch. Pocket was collapsing. Couch forced to throw it. And incomplete. Andre Davis, the target. Lee Flowers, the safety, had coverage. And this Cleveland offense is struggling in a big way.
Well, they're going to miss Jamel White, but the coverage is there. See, it gets there, but not in time, or he should have made the catch. Andre Davis, that ball hits you on the hands. You have to hold on to it. And, you know, some of the young receivers, they're not quite ready for just how physical, you know, players are defensively. So you have to be able to hold on to the ball when the defense arrives.
One from Gardocki. Antoine Randall through the middle. And L is bottled up. Now the 33-yard line by the linebacker, Andre Davis. 44-yard punt. Pittsburgh clinging to a 3-point lead. We talked about Cleveland struggling on the offensive end. Pittsburgh hasn't exactly lit it up either, especially if you look at the last 3 possessions where mistakes have not allowed the Steelers to get points on the board. And that missed field goal by Peterson, which would have extended the lead, but at the end of that first half, chance for points, and Maddox was picked off. 1st and 10 now at their own 33-yard line. Under 4 minutes to go in the 3rd. Maddox will throw it on 1st down. Complete. Plexico Burris. Burris brought down as he rolls to the 35 of Cleveland.
And there's going to be a flag down, but it's flagged down in the secondary.
So Burris makes that catch out across the middle. Good for 31 yards.
Illegal contact. Defense, number 37, is declined. The play results in a 1st down.
Anthony Henry in the starting lineup for the injured Corey Fuller, who is out with a hamstring.
And this is Burris. He has grown in confidence. He's strong, goes over the middle of the field. Look, he's concentrating on the ball, and after the catch, he catches that one in stride, able to pick up additional yards, but excellent timing on the throw by Maddox as well.
4 catches, 69 yards for Burris. Change of pace, Zaraway, and Cleveland gang tackles him after a gain of 1. Holmes and Brown combining and then getting some help along the way. Well, Tommy Maddox, he's had some problems here today. Maddox has played so well in the starting role for Pittsburgh. And Solomon, a big difference this time around for Maddox. He said if he made mistakes first time around, he might not see the football field for 6 weeks.
Yeah, but now he has some success behind him, and he's continued to make plays, and now they go to another unconventional formation with Randall L. at the quarterback position.
And Maddox sets up as a receiver. Here's Randall L. He'll keep it himself. Randall L. Stutter set. Nothing there. It was a 2nd and 9. Courtney Brown brought him down. Maddox getting into it. a little bit after the gain of 2 for Randall L.
Well, this play doesn't work, but what it does, it keeps the defense on their toes. And Maddox is lined out to the right, but they've come with a number of unconventional looks, and really what it does, it keeps the defense off balance, and they don't really know what's coming, but have to give Courtney Brown some credit. What a tackle by the big defensive end on a very speedy by Randall L. And Maddox, he's mixing it up with Lewis Sanders.
Veron Haynes is in the game for Pittsburgh, and they'll take a timeout. With 2:06 to go, it's Cleveland using the timeout. And Pittsburgh up by 3.
On CBS, he's sponsored by IBM. E-business is the game. Play to win. And by Zocor. Talk to your doctor about Zocor today.
Line of scrimmage is the 33-yard line for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the way this game has gone, this is probably 2-down territory on a 3rd and 7. Shotgun. Maddox doesn't take the snap. Ward does. Hines Ward. And he is tackled at the 25. That's a first down. So it was Maddox that set up. Ward slid over.
Well, it's just nifty play calling by Mike Mularkey. Ward, look, he's the running back, but he'll come and take the snap. So they act as if they're going to snap it to the quarterback, Tommy Maddox, but Ward, who lined up in the backfield as a running back, he cuts in front, takes the ball, and he's off to the races to pick up the first down. But Mularkey is well aware of, the weapons he has on this offense, and he's using them appropriately.
He's pulling out all the stops.
Yes, he is.
1st and 10 at the 25, so this drive remains alive with 1:20 to go. 3rd quarter, Zeraway. The line of scrimmage had a burst to pick up 5. Give him credit, because it didn't appear to be much of a hole that Zeraway worked himself through.
I think you also have to give Zeraway credit for having excellent vision. This is the most I've had a chance to see him play. Have seen him on film, but you know what? He has the ability to break it outside, but he still wants to get vertical, and that's what the good running backs do. You may have the speed to get outside, but in this league, you want to run north and south, and that's what he does. He finds the hole, and he gets up the field in a hurry.
And he's closing in on 100 yards rushing. 20 carries for 82 yards today. Amos Zeraway. Call it a 2nd and 6. Throw up high. Looked like it hit the ground. Devin Bush thought he might be able to steal one, but no. Plexico Burris, the intended receiver, and it's incomplete.
And the officials were unanimous in that call, saying that the ball did hit the ground. And boy, are the Pittsburgh Steelers lucky that that ball wasn't intercepted by Bush.
So it's 3rd and 6 from the 21.
And watch this ball comes off the hands of Plexico Burris, and now let's watch and see. Yeah, it hit the ground, and he never caught it.
On 3rd down, 38 seconds to play in the 3rd. Maddox on a soft toss for Kreider, and Dan Kreider will move the chains inside the 15. They pick up 8, and the fullback has played a role in the passing game today.
Yeah, and they're able to hit Kreider, who's checking out, because Cleveland, they're forced to blitz in order to put pressure on Tommy Maddox, and they're just coming right behind the blitzer. Kreider checks out, he catches the ball, picks up the first down.
And that's going to be the final play of this 3rd quarter. There was no scoring in the quarter, but a lot happened. Pittsburgh's going to have a chance in the red zone to start out the 4th. It's 17-14. Steelers leading it. We'll be back after this message and a word from your local station.
What was this California doctor doing with some of the world's most deadly germs in his refrigerator? And what was his connection to South Africa's notorious Dr. Death? 60 Minutes tonight.
For the first time on network television, Pierce Brosnan, The World Is Not Enough, CBS Tonight.
NFL Sunday Ticket is brought to you in part by Bridgestone.
How long have you been waiting?
You live for technology. Love your handheld and digital camera. Why not choose a tire that's as technologically advanced? Bridgestone. Created with a vision, tested with a vengeance. By a brand that's been passionate about quality tires for over 70 years. Bridgestone. Welcome to the future.
I can't stay here another minute.
Eagle Solomon Wilcots, fortunate to be joined by Marcus Allen as well today. Steelers and Browns, it's a rivalry rich in history. 101st ever meeting between these two teams, the most between any two teams in the AFC. Zaraway gets the handoff on a 1st and 10 from the 13, and he squeezes out 2 yards on the carry. Just about everybody involved for Cleveland defensively.
And so far today, Pittsburgh, they've come away empty-handed in the red zone on a number of occasions where they haven't gone for the field goal and they haven't been able to score a touchdown. And this is where Jerome Bettis would really help this football team, as they would just power it in behind this big offensive line, and now they're forced to maybe use more finesse inside the red zone.
And no Fuamatuma Afala as well, which means Veron Haynes, the rookie from Georgia, checks in for Zaraway. Play action. Maddox has the time. Throwing. Incomplete. He threw it away.
He had to throw it away. There was only one receiver who released on the route, and that was Hines Ward. And there were so many defenders who were back, and he has to come all the way across the field. But look, you'll see 3 or 4 defenders covering Hines Ward to that side of the field, and he was the only one who had released on a route on that particular play.
This is an area where Burris can be so important because of his height, and it's the 10th play of the drive.
And beware of the fade route to Flexico Burris.
We are just underway in the 4th. Pittsburgh 17, Cleveland 14. On a 3rd and 8, Maddox will throw it. Incomplete. Randall L. in a matchup across the middle, could not haul it in. And some talking going on after the fact.
Well, Kevin Bentley is in coverage. He'll come across the field. It would occur right here over the middle. Now let's see if there's contact before the ball gets there. I think he's right on time. Just good coverage by Bentley.
Much shorter attempt now for Peterson. 29 yards away. Peterson 1 of 2 on the day. Trying to add to the Pittsburgh lead. Peterson bangs it through a 29-yard field goal. And the Steelers in front 20-14. We'll come back with more 4th quarter action after this.
Since I had my bypass.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are 3-0 in their division. They've won 4 of their last 5 overall. And Bill Cowher feels like this is a chance to separate his team from everybody else. The Cleveland Browns, offensively, it's been a struggle. Their last 6 possessions, 14 total yards. Can they make something happen on special teams? They'll try some razzle-dazzle. Davis on the handoff. James Jackson with a flag down.
And the flag came in late, but it was quite clear. Bentley, number 59, he pushed one of the Steelers in the back and really helped spring the big run.
It's going to be the 9th penalty against the Cleveland Browns.
Holding during the return by the return team, number 88. 10-yard penalty. First down.
And just killer after killer with the penalty markers. Coming up tonight on CBS, The Last Bond in theaters, the first time on network television. We need a hero more than ever, and he's just the man for the job. Pierce Brosnan is Bond. Don't miss The World Is Not Enough at a special time, 8:30, 7:30 Central on CBS, America's most watched network. On a 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line, Cleveland Browns trailing the Steelers 20-14. Couch has the time to throw it. Into triple coverage, and it's intercepted by Washington. Couch makes the mistake. Kevin Johnson, the intended receiver.
Huge mistake by Tim Couch. From the time it left his hands, you knew it was a bad throw because there were 3 defenders in coverage to that side of the field. They tried the play action once again, and no one ever bit. Look at Johnson. He's coming over, but look at the coverage. Deshae Townsend's there, so is Dwayne Washington, and look, Joey Porter. There's 3 defenders there. There's no way you should have thrown this ball, Tim Couch.
His second INT. And a 25-yard return by Washington, his second pick of the season. A 1st and 10 at the 20 for Pittsburgh in a game that really shouldn't be as close as the scoreboard indicates. Amos Zaraway got clotheslined as Orpheus Roy and Alvin McKinley got him up high and down low.
You know, Butch Davis told us, he said, sometimes in order to get back into football games, your defense has to make plays. And this is one of those situations. They can ill afford to give up any points in this case. And they have to come away with a turnover. Take the ball back. Get it back for your offense and maybe run it down and put your offense in a position to put points on the board. But right now, they need the defense to stand up and make a play.
Browns came in with 73 fourth-quarter points, second in the NFL behind Kansas City. Steelers on a 2nd and 9. It's Zaraway. Unable to spin his way out of trouble. Earl Holmes all over the play. No gain.
Well, Earl Holmes, he knows what I'm talking about. He came rifling up from that middle linebacker position, sniffed out the play, came up and made a very strong, solid tackle.
Holmes was very complimentary in talking about Zaraway. He said he's not a third down back. He could be a starter for a lot of teams.
And look, he comes a long way to make that tackle, but that's just reading and reacting. Good film study. He knows what's going to happen. Great anticipation.
On a 3rd and 9. Just inside the 20. Out of the gun. Maddox. Rush is coming. Maddox didn't feel it from the backside, and he is sacked. Courtney Brown.
Courtney Brown is making some big plays, and he nearly lodged that ball loose, and had he came away with a fumble. He's coming in from the backside. Maddox never saw him. And this is what you want to do. Get Tommy Maddox on the run because he's not fleet of foot. And he can't run too well, so you have to put the pressure on him. They're going to go for a field goal.
42-yard attempt. Trying to make this a 2-possession game. Peterson, 42 yards away. He's got it. And the Steelers now in front, 23-14. Back-to-back field goals for Todd Peterson to extend the lead. Steelers up by 9 with 11:55 to go in the 4th quarter. Tommy Maddox, 21 of 39 throwing the football, 227 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an INT. Now the game summary, the numbers don't lie. Browns still alive, though, with plenty of time left. Peterson on the kickoff for Andre Davis. But Cleveland just not making plays. LaRon Haynes makes the stop on special teams after the 21-yard return. We'll come back to Cleveland after this.
CBS is sponsored by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. Heineken, it's all about the beer. Heineken. And by PlayStation 2. Live in your world, play in ours.
Well, the Cleveland Browns have made their living this season coming from behind. They face that situation right now, down 23-14 with 11:48 to go in the 4th. Tim Couch has thrown 2 interceptions today. Floats one up and out of bounds. Jason Gilden again applied some pressure on Couch. Even though the sack numbers are down, Gilden has been asked to do more in the passing game this year. And Gilden has gotten in the face of Tim Couch so far today a couple of times.
And with the lack of a running game, Tim Couch is being asked to do more. I mean, he's basically a sitting duck behind this offensive line. But when you can't run the football, you become one-dimensional. And players like Jason Gilden can just tee off on the quarterback, and they're looking to add to their sack total.
Right shoulder injury for Jamel White, so we have seen James Jackson, the second-year running back out of Miami, on the field. Couch. Rush coming. And too low a throw. He didn't have enough mustard on it for Andre Davis.
And that's because he was hit by number 53, Clark Hagan. They tee off on the quarterback, and everyone knows he has to throw the football. Tim Couch, he's dropping back, and Higgins comes from that blind side, and then they also send Joey Porter right up the middle. They meet at the quarterback, and right now, Tim Couch is taking a beating.
That's a Couch sandwich.
It sure is.
3rd and 10 from the 30. This crowd is a non-factor right now. 11:37 to go on the 4th. Out of the gun, Campbell, the motion man. 7 defensive backs for Pittsburgh. It doesn't matter. Lee Flowers on a safety blitz. His second sack of the season. And 3 and out once again for Cleveland.
Yeah, we said they were teeing off on the quarterback. They just bring more than the Cleveland Browns can block. They come right off the side, and the free guy that they don't account for is Lee Flowers. No one gets open. They don't check off to a 3-step drop. Before they can get open, Tim Gouch is on the ground.
Gardocki a punt, high punt, Randall L. Fair catch. And he brings it in at the 38-yard line. This Cleveland offense, they played no role today. Lee Flowers with the sack and little dance on the sideline, little sprint as well. It's a happy guy.
He's looking good. You know, defensive backs know when the quarterback has to throw the ball. You don't have a running game. He says, hey, we'll get the sacks and we'll come away with interceptions also.
1st and 10 from the 38 for Pittsburgh. Trying to put a stranglehold on this game. It's Amos Zaraway. Finds the corner, and Zaraway is tackled by Earl Holmes. Career high in yardage. 5 yards for Zaraway to tack on to his total. He's up to 90 for the day in the absence of Jerome Bettis.
And if they keep this up, he'll go over 100, because this is where this Pittsburgh Steeler offensive line likes to take over the football game. They just kind of wear you down, get into the 4th quarter, and then they just run downhill. Zaraway, he knows it. He says this offensive line is one of the best that you'll ever play behind.
Had a 35-yard touchdown run last week in that victory in Baltimore. This team winning on the road. Zaraway, shake and bake to midfield, into Cleveland territory, and down at the 44. Gandy with a block. Faneca on that left side as well, and a pat on the helmet from Bill Cowher.
Zaraway takes it up the sideline, right on cue. More of the running game. So Bill Cowher says, we haven't changed a bit. Now, I tend to think they have changed somewhat with Tommy Maddox, but at this point in the ball game, when you have the lead in the 4th quarter, they go back to what they do naturally, and that's run the football behind this offensive line. Now, if you're Cleveland, you know that's what they're going to do, so you have to commit yourself to shutting down this running game and match their strength and be very physical at the point of attack.
First time in his career, Amos Zaraway has gone over 100 yards rushing in a game. Zaraway can add to that total, and does. Browns know it's coming, and they can do nothing about it. 8 yards for Zaraway. He's got 111 yards on 25 carries.
This is just a war of wills. The defense know they're going to run the ball. The offense, you know, the linemen are probably saying, yeah, we are going to run it. We're coming right at you, but you can't stop us, because right now they're just very strong, and, you know, they're used to using Jerome Bettis, but, you know, filling the void. They've been able to run the ball even without Bettis, whether it's Zaraway or Chris Fuamatu-Ma'afala. Look at the rushing yards per game. Very close to what they're used to getting with Jerome Bettis. And you know what? There's not a jealous bone in Bettis' body. He wants his guys to come in and do well also.
On a 2nd and 2, inside handoff, Dan Kreider. He doesn't get many of those, and he picks up 3 yards. Orpheus Roy with the tackle for Cleveland. And that clock is rolling. 8:35 and counting left in the 4th. Pittsburgh with a 23-14 advantage.
Kreider says, now it's my turn to run behind this line. I think you could put, I don't want to say anyone behind this offensive line, but there are a number of different backs, different styles, different running types that you can play, because it starts up front with the big offensive line.
New set of downs for Pittsburgh to work with. They'll bunch their receivers off the line. But it's a run formation. Veron Hayes. He gets an opportunity and doesn't do much with it. Orpheus Roy, the stop. It's a loss of 3, but that clock continues to move.
And at some point, you do have to have pride. As a defensive football player, you don't want to go in on Monday, look at the tape, and see a team just steamroll over the top of you. Orpheus Roy says, you know what? I'll do something about it. And that's the kind of football players that Butch Davis is looking for. Someone who's going to step up and stop the bleeding.
The issues today for Cleveland have not been defensive issues. While Pittsburgh is running the football effectively now, can't say that Cleveland's defense hasn't done the job up until this point. It's been the offense. That's what you're going to hang this one on after the game if it stays this way. Deflected at the line of scrimmage. Looked like Courtney Brown got a piece of that one. And it's incomplete. Setting up a 3rd and 13.
Yeah, the people in the Cleveland area has been looking for Courtney Brown to step up. He's had a whale of a football game today. At the top of your screen, working against number 77, Marvell Smith. He gets up and able to bat down that ball, but just a good play by Courtney Brown, who's also applied some pressure to the quarterback, Tommy Maddox, come away with a couple of sacks today.
Cleveland trying to develop a home field advantage. They were 0-8 in '99 at home, 2-6 in 2000, 4-4 last year, 2-2 entering action today. And a big third down play. On a pitch, Haynes breaks a tackle and comes up well short of a first down. Earl Little helped make sure that he was out of bounds after he gained 3 yards along that sideline.
Right now, Bill Cowers trying to make a decision as to if he's going to go for it. Wants to see where they're going to spot the ball. But, you know, this is where the defense of the Cleveland Browns can stand up and do themselves proud. If the team comes out and try to run it on you on fourth down, I think it shows a lack of respect. And defensive players have to recognize that and rise to the occasion.
They're going for it. Similar situation to the ones they faced earlier in this game. They're not going to try any kind of long field goal. Play clock's down to 1. Shotgun on a 4th and 9. Maddox throwing. Randall L. after the catch and just a little bit short. He's not going to get there. And Cleveland again has done its job defensively. Can the Cleveland offense show some signs of life? We'll find out when we come back.
Yes, is sponsored by new MSN 8. It's better with a butterfly. MSN 8, more useful every day. And by Wrangler, real comfortable jeans.
First and 10 at the 27 for the Cleveland Browns. Let's go downstairs and Marcus Allen.
Well, thanks, Simon. Down here with the bus, Jerome Bettis, who's been sidelined with a knee injury. Jerome, when are you going to be back, and how do you feel?
You know, I feel pretty good. The knee is really getting a lot better, so hopefully we're targeted next week.
You know, your understudy is having a career day here. You're not teaching him too many tricks, are you?
Well, I'm giving him what he needs to in order for us to win a football game. I still got a couple tricks after the bag.
All right, thanks, Jerome. Back upstairs.
All right, Marcus, thanks very much. The bus as well. Couch throwing on first down. It's complete. Andre Davis makes the catch and then brought down quickly. They'll spot the football at the 32. Hank Poteet with the stick. And it's a 6-yard gain, and they're in hurry-up mode.
You know, Tim Couch came into today's game as the AFC's 5th-rated passer in the 4th quarter, so he can put it together, but they're running out of time.
On a 2nd and 4. Couch, rush coming, gets rid of it, and Morgan is walloped right away. You know, the major difference here, Solomon, a week ago, Cleveland able to put up points in that second half. The Jets backed off, almost went into a prevent mode. Pittsburgh has kept the pressure on throughout the entire second half defensively.
Yeah, and the pressure that they've brought is the pressure on the quarterback, Tim Couch. They're getting hits on him on every single play. They're forcing bad throws, and they're doing really good job in coverage in the secondary, but it all starts up front in terms of putting pressure on the quarterback.
Cleveland yet to convert a 3rd down this afternoon. It's a 3rd and 4. Couch steps up and throws. Caught by Davis. And down at the 49-yard line. 17 yards through the air. Brent Alexander hunched over in pain. And the clock stops with 5:37 to play in the 4th.
And there was some zip on this pass by Tim Couch. It went a long way, but good thing he had the arm strength because it was nearly intercepted by Chad Scott. Andre Davis hauls it in. They convert the 3rd down, and they're on the move.
Alexander on his knees. Medical staff taking a look. And it did stop the clock for Cleveland. Ball spotted at the 49-yard line and a new set of downs for the Browns. They'll come from behind. Cleveland's done it. Tennessee, Baltimore against the Houston Texans and the New York Jets last week, trailing 21-3. 18 second-half points. 27 second-half points against Houston.
It's like the Cardiac Kids Part 2. Bring back Brian Sipe in the game.
First and 10 of the 49. Alexander able to walk off. Well, the Browns not down by 1 score. They're down by 2 scores. clock is moving now. 5.5 to go. Blitz is coming. On the dump ball. Northcutt curls it upfield. Lunging forward at the marker. And that should be enough for another Cleveland first down at the 41 of Pittsburgh.
Northcutt, he's very quick. I mean, how good is he to catch that ball, able to elude the tackler, get up the field, pick up the first down, and get out of bounds. So he got a lot done on that play.
Gives a lot of credit to Terry Robisky. Told us that Robisky has done a phenomenal job with these wide receivers. His growth has been evident this season in his third year. But right now, the Browns down 23-14. We come up on 5 minutes to go. Here's Couch. Pocket. Collapsed. Incomplete. Clark Hagan's the man that got to Tim Couch.
And that time, I thought the offensive line did do a good job of giving Tim Couch time, but I think he holds on to the ball too long. They're running the crossing routes, and he's forced to hold on to the ball until the route clears. But, you see, he has time. He holds on to the ball. You're only going to get maybe 3 seconds. When the clock hits 3 seconds, the ball has to be out of the quarterback's hands.
Right shoulder injury for Jamel White. That happened in the third quarter. He has not returned. And Cleveland hasn't been able to run the football with White or without him today. Couch throws to Northcutt. And he is spun down at the 34-yard line, 7 yards from Couch to Northcutt to Shea Townsend in on that coverage.
You know, right now, Pittsburgh, their defense, they're content to allow him to catch the ball in front of them and come up and make the tackle.
A 3rd and 3. Couch with a pump fake. Couch will run it himself. He'll get the first down. Angling towards the sideline and hurdles his way out of bounds. He needed 3 yards, and that's exactly what he got on that little scamper to the far side.
When you talk with many of the players and the coaches on this football team, they say you can never question the courage of Tim Couch. He has guts. That's why he's been able to bring our football team back. So you won't ever see him give up. He's taken some hits, even in this game so far today.
Wait a second, Solomon. He had the ball in his hand as he jumped out of bounds, and he did not get a favorable spot. So the ball was out of bounds before the body.
Well, let's see how they're going to mark it now. He's holding the ball in his right hand. See, he puts it back in his left hand, and that's where they're going to mark it. Had he kept it in his right hand, he would have been beyond the first down marker. I think he gets it by a nose.
Yeah, it's irrelevant, but it shouldn't have even been a question. He had all kinds of room in front of him. And Butch Davis will send a little message to Mike Carey.
No, he agrees with you. He says it shouldn't have even come to this.
So a 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. 23-14. Steelers looking to go to 5 and 3. Browns trying to get above the 500 mark. They enter action at 4 and 4. Shotgun formation. Couch. Timing pattern. Will throw to the end zone. Jump ball situation. Caught by Morgan. Touchdown, Cleveland. .31 yards. One-on-one with Washington, and Morgan won that battle.
Before the game, I talked with the wide receiver coach, Terry Robisky. He said, in working with many of these young wide receivers, I had to teach them, hey, balls are going to come down 40 yards up the field, so don't even look back until you get up the field. Now, let's watch Quincy Morgan. He doesn't look back. See, he's just trying to get separation. He gets to the depth, and then he turns around and looks for the ball, uses his athletic ability to go over to Dwayne Washington and come down with the football. In his second year, what a fabulous receiver is Quincy Morgan, and Terry Robisky, the teaching is rubbed off.
And guess what? Here they come again. 23-20. Awaiting the extra point from Phil Dawson. 8 plays, 73 yards. Dawson. Oh, he missed it. Dawson just missed the point after. Wow. Phil Dawson came in 16 of 16. He had knocked down 2 of them in this game. Oh, boy. It's a 3-point differential with 4:32 left.
Now let's watch the snap to see if it's good. It's right out in front of the holder. Good snap, good hold. You know what? He overcompensated, gets too much of it, and pulls it wide left.
Phil Dawson, third time in his career that he has missed an extra point. And instead of Cleveland being down by 2, they're down by 3. Kickoff by Dawson. Mays, the return man from the 16. Lee Mays, hole, opens up. Spin move by Mays to the 43-yard line. Raymond Walls, the first guy there on special teams to finally get a hand on him to bring him down.
So Pittsburgh, they'll get good field position, and now they can just, you know, power it in behind this offensive line. But also, if you're Cleveland, you have to beware of the play-action pass, because they're not just going to sit on the football here and allow you to crowd the line of scrimmage and stop the running game. So you're going to also have to protect, watch for the trick plays, and watch for play-action pass.
This is the 80th play from scrimmage for Pittsburgh today. Compare that to Cleveland, 39. Hand it off. Zaraway. He came out of there like a rocket, but Cleveland didn't let him get much. 3-yard gain. Devin Bush caught him down low.
And what I like about that play is Tommy Maddox, after he handed the ball to Amos Zaraway, he still carried out the play fake. Act as if he had the ball, and he's giving that same look so that when he does keep it on the play action, it has the same appearance as a handoff, so he's very consistent in his movements.
Cleveland has just used a timeout. The Browns have 1 remaining with 4:17 left to go in the 4th. Just following the blueprint that the Browns have followed all year. Second half, specifically fourth quarter, when you think that the game is right on the brink of being over. You and I were in Tennessee, a game that, for all intents and purposes, appeared to be done with the Titans winning out over the Browns. And then a sequence of events changes things. Browns stay in the game, make a play, find themselves right in the thick of it.
And they always make that play on the arm of Tim Couch. He gets it to one of the young receivers. They make a big play. And, you know, it's a very young football team. They don't start playing till late in the fourth quarter. Butch Davis wish they would come out and do it earlier in the ball game, but for some reason, they can't seem to help themselves.
Line of scrimmage, the 45. On a 2nd and 7. Kreider in front of Zaraway. Maddox looking to throw it. He does. Complete to Ward, short of the marker. And he got blistered at midfield by Earl Holmes. Pickup of 6. And there is that smile. Holmes and Ward going back and forth.
Well, just watch Holmes. He'll get a beat on Hines Ward. He comes over and look. No yards after the catch there, boy. He comes in and lays a lick.
Well, they give him forward progress to the 49. It is a 3rd and 1 for Pittsburgh. Down to 3:45 left.
That's right. Big play for the Cleveland Browns defense.
A huge play if they can get the football back. If not, Pittsburgh can use more clock with a first down. It's going to be Maddox himself. And a new set of downs for the Steelers to work with. The quarterback sneak for Bill Cowher and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this clock continues to roll.
Yeah, it's all about the clock, and this is easy for Tommy Maddox going behind the big offensive line. They can at least get a push for 1 yard. He takes a hit, but he's happy about it. They pick up the first down, and now you just have to watch the clock, and Cleveland's going to be forced to burn some timeouts.
Browns have 1 remaining, and they have the 2-minute warning. 1st and 10 from the 48. Maddox on a handoff. Zaraway spun down back in Pittsburgh territory by the massive Gerard Warren. .243 left to go in the 4th. Pittsburgh 23, Cleveland 20. Cincinnati has taken care of business against Houston. The Bengals get their first win of the season. And action here from the AFC North in a game that looked to be in control. Pittsburgh was up by 9. But the Browns come back on a touchdown. Couch to Morgan. Phil Dawson misses an extra point. And that's why we have a 3-point disparity as the Browns have just used their final timeout with 2:44 to go here in the 4th.
And Tim Couch is just starting to warm up. He's getting going. Tommy Maddox has had a good game today. Pittsburgh has struggled inside of the red zone, and that's why Cleveland also remains in this ball game. But the defense now has an opportunity to make a play get off the field, get the ball back for their offense because they're 3 points away of tying it up. They've told us this is their biggest game since coming back in 1999 as they're playing for first place in the division.
At a 2nd and 14 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Amos Zaraway, his first career 100-yard day. 27 carries, 110 yards, filling in for Jerome Bettis out with a knee injury. Can the Browns come through defensively to get the football back? 2nd and 14 for Maddox. Movement. It was Mark Word who jumped, and a flag down. Was he coaxed into jumping by Plexico Burress? That's the question. Steelers say no.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 90, jumped into the neutral zone, causing immediate reaction by the offensive line. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So Word picks it up. 10th penalty of the day against the Cleveland Browns.
Well, it's hurt the young football team. You know, Butch Davis, one of the points that he's going to make is the guys who can't hurt ourselves. He's at the right end position. See, he jumps into the neutral zone, and right there, that's the infraction because it draws Burress offside.
On the pitch for Zaraway. And Zaraway picks up 2 yards. I want to welcome those of you watching New England defeat Buffalo in a game of emotions. Drew Bledsoe and the Bills come up short. It's 23-20, Pittsburgh leading Cleveland here in the 4th quarter with 2:25 left. And now the Steelers facing a 3rd and 7.
If you're Pittsburgh, you have to be careful. You have to do what you do best, and that's be strong at the point of attack with the running game.
Well, right now, the clocks are very close. Play clock and game clock. Steelers are going to allow this to come right down to the 2-minute warning. You're talking about a millisecond difference, and it favors Pittsburgh. 2 minutes left to go in the 4th. Pittsburgh with the football, and they are holding on to a 3-point edge. On a 3rd down for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Handoff, Amos Zaraway, and spun down by Orpheus Roy. Steelers, though, made the wise choice to run the football. Browns have no timeouts remaining.
Yeah, you have to run the ball, allow some time to run off the clock. You risk passing the ball in this situation, it stops the clock, and you do the Cleveland Browns a huge favor.
Coming up, Subway postgame show. Jim, Dion, Dan, and Boomer will have the scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Subway postgame show. Want to welcome those of you who've been watching Baltimore and Atlanta. The Falcons win it over the Ravens here. It's a tight one in Cleveland. Tim Couch will get an opportunity to lead this team down the field in a 3-point game with 1:19 left. Tommy Maddox uses a timeout and stops the clock now with 1:14 to go. Well, let's tell you about how we got to this point in our game summary. Dennis Northcutt, 87-yard punt return. Cleveland up 7-0. Peterson, 43-yard field goal for Pittsburgh, 7-3. Hyden, a 1-yard touchdown. They extend the lead, but Ward comes back with a touchdown into the zone. Mark Bruner gives Pittsburgh the lead. Peterson adds to it on 2 field goals. But Quincy Morgan, a 31-yard reception for the touchdown. Phil Dawson misses the extra point. $1:14 to go in the 4th quarter. It's the Steelers 23, the Browns 20 in a game that Pittsburgh had in control, within their grasp. They were looking to deliver the knockout punch and could not. Cleveland, they've been the cardiac kids this season, and they're going to get a chance to live up to their nickname. Josh Miller, high punt, Northcutt waiting. Rolling to the 1 and squirts into the end zone. Hank Poteet had a chance. Is that a live football? It is. It was never down. Andre King running it out. And King out of bounds at the 11-yard line as time comes off the clock and 2 penalty markers on the play. 57 seconds left.
It looked like a wise decision by King, but that ball would have gone to the 20-yard line.
And it cost his team 9 yards. Mike Carey chatting with his officiating crew. Poteet on a touch.
That's right. This ball is going to be live. Now it goes in, and until the whistle's blowing, they're going to signal a touchback, but it's still a live football. He goes in and picks it up, and if he returns it for a touchdown, it counts.
There were fouls by both teams. Illegal substitution. During the return, both teams from the bench came onto the field. Those happened after the ball was returned. They will offset. Cleveland will have the ball in the dead ball spot. First down.
Well, both teams thought the play was over.
That's right. They thought it was over. They came pouring onto the field, the offense for the Cleveland Browns and the defense for Pittsburgh, but they had yet to blow the whistle, so it was still a live play.
All we needed was the Stanford band on the field, and we would have had something here. Subway postgame show is coming up. Keep it right here with all the scores and highlights. Guys back in the studio will have it. Week 9 around the NFL coming up on the Subway postgame show.
Now here's what you have to remember. Most of the deep balls for Cleveland Browns have come off play-action pass. So they're going to put some pressure on Tim Couch, but the defensive backs, you have to play deep. Don't give up the big ball and just give it to him short, come up and make the tackle and look to make a play, but they're going to come after Tim Couch.
Browns offense has been quiet throughout most of the day, but they have come up with some big plays on occasion. The Quincy Morgan in particular. Pocket collapsing. Loose football is scooped up by Sean O'Hara, the right guard. He lost it when he came down at the 10-yard line. 48 seconds to go in the fourth, and a near disaster for Cleveland.
Yeah, they're pouring in on Tim Couch. Clark Hagens, he's gotten the sack so far today, and they've been very successful at getting to Tim Couch. Even when they haven't gotten the sack, they've been able to apply the pressure.
They are backing the football up to the 2. Couch. Flags down. Kevin Johnson with a catch, and he takes a smack from Chad Scott.
And this is going to be illegal motion on the Cleveland Browns. They snapped the ball before the offensive players could get set. Kevin Johnson came running over to the other side, and they snapped the ball before he could get sacked.
So the second chaotic situation that we've seen in the last 1 minute of play here. First on the kickoff, and now Mike Carey has to sort things out on the penalty. They originally placed the football at the 10-yard line, and now they're saying it was a sack on Tim Couch back at the 2.
And I think it must have even confused the Cleveland Browns offensive players because they were in disarray, ready to line up at the 10-yard line. Once they came back, they never got back and got set before the center snapped the football.
So the Browns have magic left after coming from behind on 3 different occasions this season.
Now let's watch the hit to see if it was indeed a sack. Now, looks like the arm was coming back when that ball came out, which in case that would be ruled a fumble.
Well, then can you advance the football? That's now the issue. If it's spotted at the 2-yard line, are you giving Sean O'Hara the opportunity to take it upfield?
And I'm sure that's what they're going to talk about.
They ran another play after the fact. So I don't know if you can go back and check on that. You're just going to talk about this penalty right now if you're Mike Carey.
Illegal shift by the offense. They never were set and never came set before the ball was snapped. Under 2 minutes, that's a snap infraction and requires a 10-second run. We'll reset the game clock to 33 seconds, and it'll be wound on the referee's signal. Second down.
So I think they went back and discussed the fact that, the previous play, did they really confuse the offense? But they just only went back to look at as to whether or not the offense was set. And you could see Kevin Johnson running across the formation as the ball was snapped.
You know, that's something, Solomon. The Cleveland Browns have a knack for playing in these kinds of games. Just weird situations seem to arise with this football team. Look how far the Browns have to go to get themselves to the field goal range. From his own end zone, catch to Dennis Northcutt. He loses the football, and it's ruled incomplete.
Well, he took his eyes off that ball, but talk about them having a knack for situations like this. In the 24 games that Butch Davis has coached this football team, 12 of those games have come down to the final minute. So this is enough to give the pacemaker a serious jolt.
Tack one more on. 25 games and 13. The number just keeps growing for Butch Davis and the Browns. This is a 3rd and 18. Only 17 seconds remain with Pittsburgh in front 23-20. Couch throws over the middle. A lateral back to Dennis Northcutt. Another lateral, and then down at the 13-yard line. The clock's rolling. 4 seconds left. 2 seconds left.
They're not going to make it.
That's it. The Pittsburgh Steelers hold on and maintain first place in the AFC North. Steelers improved to 5-3. This was a strange one down the stretch. Pittsburgh 23, Cleveland 20. Bill Cowher and the Steelers do get the separation they were looking for in the division. And now they have a stranglehold on a division title down the road if they can keep up their winning ways here in the AFC North. 23-20, Pittsburgh has won it over the Cleveland Browns.
Welcome back. I'm Spencer Tillman here with you on NFL Sunday Ticket. We're all wrapped up on the shores of Lake Erie in Cleveland. I'll be back in 30 seconds with scores and updates from today's early action and a look at the late kickoffs right after this.